Wait, I have a question. So before I'm gonna be in Oslo, I'll be in Austin for
Yeah.
South by Southwest. So I'll be flying directly from Austin to Oslo. And right now I'm kind of in this conundrum of how I should pack. Like I
Packing?
wanna like have really fashion stuff in Austin because it's been really hot. I'm gonna go to South by Southwest, so I wanna look good, you know. And then I'm gonna be in Oslo and it's gonna be like -20 again, and I only have a carry-on. So what would be the best way to pack?
I think you should focus on just looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the Scandinavian part of the trip?
Bring your fur coat, the big pimp one.
Yes,
That is all you need. Except you probably need like a separate luggage just for that.
that too. Yeah. It's
But you
true.
have a very diverse like fashion, like you'll look different every time I see you. It's actually fucking crazy.
It's true.
Yeah. Like how big is your closet?
Not that big,
Yeah.
but pretty big. But I think it's like fashion is a way for me to express my many sides as a creative, as a person. Like we're also complex, also layered, and fashion is just like a actual physical manifestation of what's going on in my chaotic head. You know, like everything everywhere at one, all at once. Have you seen the movie?
Yeah, I know you love that movie.
Yeah, like when I saw that movie, I'm like, holy shit! Sometimes that's me. You know,
Yeah. I saw
and
that movie. It's great.
it's fucking great.
Yeah.
Like
You told me to watch it.
it's so good. Like I
Yeah.
watched it last year this time when it came out as a premiere and no one knew about it and I was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
I can relate in so many levels, being like a Chinese immigrant, having this kind of really difficult, arduous relation with my mother, with my roots and growing up, figuring out my different identities identities and having the imposter syndrome, trying to figure out who I am. But you can be all, you know, you can be everything, everyone all at once if you believe it. And that's what Evelyn believed at the end. She believed in all, and like she had her core values, which is her family and the people she believed in, and in all those versions of herself, she will always fight for her family and the people in believing. And that's me. It's like I have all those versions, but like the people I love, the people I'm committed to, the things I care for, um, they will be expressed and shown across my many personalities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, do you say like it resonated with you like even today because I see you as such like a confident person that like really like can do anything and like you just carry yourself in a way that like I am actually inspired by when you do anything. you know I'm not just trying to kiss your ass right now. You're a good friend of mine. I don't need to kiss your ass.
I'm already here. Like you don't need to like
Yeah.
flatter my ego. Like I'm already
Yeah,
at your
yeah.
fucking podcast. Like we
Yeah.
had really good sushi. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank
We
you,
just had
Ginga.
dinner together. Very
Great
nice. Had some sake.
great
Yeah.
tea.
Thank
And we're
you.
sitting next. Oh my god, your cat.
Stan, come here. The movie was about imposter
Yeah.
syndrome, and like she had this, pent up kind of like frustration, the
Yeah.
main character, and resentment.
Yes, resentment.
Yeah,
That's a good
and
word.
it was kind of expressing itself like within the family.
Yes.
It's getting dysfunctional,
Yeah.
right? And like even the antagonist is like her daughter,
Yeah.
right? It's affecting the relationship in the family. And so like, that transition you had from like, let's say we were maybe experiencing that like imposter syndrome or like, your identity as an immigrant,
Yeah.
right? And that I relate with,
Yeah.
right? Like we so vibe on that. Like we used to just
Wait.
sit around and talk about that. For, like
Exactly.
whenever we would have dinner together,
Immigrant struggles.
we would just like
Immigrant
make jokes about
immigrant humor.
yeah, immigrant humor, like FOB blah blah blah, like whatever, Chinese, Japanese, Asian, like white
Blah,
people.
blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah. And so like to me it's such a relief.
What happened to those jokes?
What?
The FOB ha 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 jokes. We still make them. We just
What
made
do you-
one.
What do you mean?
The FOB jokes.
FOB jokes?
Yeah, we made one about Fabio. Hi,
Yeah.
Fabio.
Hey Fabio, how you doing? We love you. He really wanted to be here tonight.
Oh, he wanted?
Yeah.
Have you called
He has a
him?
lot of questions for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, shoot me his questions.
Well, he was curious about because we talk about relationships
Yeah.
often, and actually that's one of the, the thematics of the show is like I like kind of like brushing on relationship, dating, sex life, that type
You
of
like
thing.
talking about that,
I
Ginga.
love talking about that because I find that that's actually a place where you can learn a lot about yourself and like how you engage with people. And we just had a talk about it briefly
Yeah.
before we even started recording. And the way that you manage relationships and how intentfully you choose your people and how you give your time because you're so busy. You're like probably the one of the busiest people I know. And I don't know how you fucking do it. I don't know how you do it. It's insane. And like I don't know if you do yoga, meditation or whatever to keep yourself grounded and like centered, all of that. Huh?
My secret is Kung Fu.
Kung Fu.
Yeah, so I started practicing Kung Fu 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just gonna backtrack a bit. Your first question was about my transformation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think nothing happened like from a day to another, like a very drastic shift. It was very organic, and I think I'm still figuring myself out who I am. I still want to do it all. I still love music. Nowadays, I don't really play music, but I still touch my instruments here and there. But I'm directing music videos. I do music artworks, like for album artworks. I have a lot of friends who are in bands who are so passionate and they fucking inspire me. So shout out to those people. I think it's just not limiting yourself. Like we're saying, as a person, you're so complex and you're so rich. The moment you give yourself a label, like you're only that, you're gonna be fucking only that for the rest of the amount of time you think you're that. You're putting yourself in a fixed mindset, but you want to put yourself in a growth mindset, in an incremental mindset. So you want to keep growing. So if you don't put any labels, no limits, that's how you're gonna grow. It's like a plant or like a goldfish. If you put a goldfish in a tiny aquarium, I don't know if you've seen the movie, they don't grow. But as long as you switch aquarium, they're gonna take the space. So that's the same thing. Like you want to take that space and not be scared. And the confidence comes with time. Because when you're younger, like you said, you're immigrant, like I didn't even speak French. I didn't even speak English. Like that fucking sucked. So I didn't want to take any space. Like who the fuck am I to take any space? I can't even speak. But once you acquire the language, like right now I'm doing this podcast in English, which is my third language. So this makes me more confident to take that space and to explore my many sides and to grow. So yeah, so that transformation just happened and it's happening all the time. It's happening today as well. Right now, as we're talking, I'm transforming and morphing into something bigger, hopefully, and better. And I hope the same for you and our listeners. And your other question about relationship, I think it's making time because at the end of the day, you only have so much time. And when I meet someone and we click, I'm like, okay, does this person makes me feel good about like humanity? Sometimes I'm literally thinking about humanity. Like, do I want to be a better person when I'm with this person? Like, does the person want to be a better person when they're with me? Like, what are we bringing to each other in the relationship? Are we making humanity and this planet a better place?
Wow.
Like, sometimes
Are you
I'm
like a
literally thinking about the
superhero?
future. No, we're not superheroes, but imagine if we all thought that other people are good people, like we all can give each other some good, the fucking whole world would be a better place,
I agree.
So it's just a mindset mentality and time management is definitely hard. Like I wish I could see my friends and some people more, but I'm sometimes stuck. So I have to find strategies and what I want to prioritize. Like if I'm giving and investing, they're investing, giving as much. If I don't see the effort, I won't put any efforts. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think you feel the same way. Like
Yeah, I
now at
totally
our
feel.
stage as an adult, we're all busy,
Yeah, we're
and
so
it's
busy.
normal.
It's so busy. Like everybody's busy. I think it's hard for a lot of people to, even in a relationship, which let's say is stable, let's say have a very regular routine of work
Yeah.
and have family or something. even in that like simplified version where let's say you have a day job, it's
Yeah.
very much set. Maybe they don't have extra projects like you do because you have always something going
Yeah.
on outside of your work and you seek it. You
Yeah.
go out and look for it, and some people might not. Maybe they'll have a more simplified lifestyle.
That's perfect. That's
But
perfectly
even those
fine.
people might find it hard to like find
Yeah.
time, because you get tired. You're tired at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm too tired to spend time with my wife, or like, you know what I'm saying?
Life.
My wife.
Whoa. Okay, I thought you said my
Yeah.
life. I'm like,
No,
that's
like
going dark. Like you're
kids.
going dark.
Yeah, like but some people, like a lot of like marriages fail,
Yeah.
and I'm not just saying that's the reason, like the only reason. I'm not a marriage
Are you
expert. I'm single. Like I'm the most unqualified person to talk about this, but I'm curious. I'm fascinated by how people like manage their time, for sure.
Is
And
Fabio
also
married?
he's married.
How does he manage his time?
I mean, he's very dedicated to like make time for her, and like they do trips, they do dates, they cook together, eat together. I mean, they're very much like doing good. They're doing very well.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Like you said, if you want to make time, you're dedicated, you're committed, you make time, you make it work.
Yeah.
You will come across like people
Totally.
who are on their words. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they don't, because we all have friends who are like, oh, let's hang out. And like, you're like, okay, sure. But like, you don't make actual plans. You have
Yeah, like
to be
let's go have
actionable.
coffee sometime.
Yes.
That means
like,
nothing to me.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're like, let's see each other at this day, this time, and you book them in their fucking Google Calendar, that's what my friends do. Every time I hang out with those people, they book me and they put in my fucking Google Calendar. And
There's
I'm
like a slot, and you have to like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
I do, I do that too. Like for my birthday, I send you a fucking Google invite.
That's true.
I do that with like all my good
Yeah.
friends.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like there's
Because
a
that
point.
actually physically, digitally booked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like you have to be very proactive about
You're
these things.
digitizing time and schedule, and
Yeah.
you have to do it that way.
It's completely like it's practical, just logistical, like
Yeah.
things that you have to manage in your life. And a lot of people just like, I guess, lazy, I think.
But once you're done that, you don't have to think about that anymore.
That's
so
it.
it's like actually tips to save energy so you can focus on things that really matter. It's like, okay, well, I'm tired to make plans and this, but like make it, book it, never think about it. And your agenda will remind you, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about that, but I'm not applying all those rules. I have to say,
No,
I
it's
know people who
perfect.
are really good at it, and they fucking inspire me to like be even more disciplined. And the reason I practice Kung Fu is because I wanted to improve my mobility. Because I feel like all we do is like sitting in front of a screen, during the day, and then you go home and you sit in front of a bigger screen. I'm like, maybe I need to be mobile. I'm a human being. I have limbs. And also to practice like forms, resilience, strength. And it's very meditative. It's very disciplined. And it's badass, like Kung Fu means like repetition, practicing resilience. So this, in Asian philosophy, the body and the mind are connected, where it's very like holistic. So the more resilient your body is, the more resilient your mind is. So you're strengthening your mind through strengthening your body, through strengthening your mind, through strengthening your body. So it really helps me like to stay like focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good to like connect with like your true self almost,
Ooh.
I feel.
True self.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like,
What is like? How do you feel like you're always being true self in every situation, all the time, everywhere?
true self. I can't be true self all the time because being true self is very intentional, and that takes energy, like mental energy, to actually activate that. Like you said, when you do yoga, you do those forms, it's very mental. That's when you have your true self. But that's fucking tiring. Imagine being your true self all the time.
I have a question then.
Yeah.
Is it possible to make it effortless?
I guess if you practice a lot and it becomes a habit, you can make it as effortless as it is possible. Yeah. Like everything, you can make it more effortless if it becomes a habit.
Be like water.
Be like water, man. Be like water and take the shapes of whatever obstacle you
Yeah.
encounter and go around. It's like Bruce Lee, like, you know.
Yeah.
What was it at first? What he did at first maybe was fucking hard, and then it became easier.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like,
Yeah.
but then it's like, I have a question for you. Do you want to be your true self all the time?
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
Like your question is like, can you be? But my question
Yeah.
is like, do you want that?
Do I want it?
Do
Yeah.
you want to be if you could? This is effortless. This
You
is
know,
zero effort to be your true self.
I think it would be an ideal.
Okay.
I don't know if it's even something that's possible because, you know, as you move through the day in your life, you know, we are ourselves, but we have different faces that we
Yeah.
put on to
So
like
what is your
engage
true
the world,
self?
right?
Yeah.
So then you might question like, oh, am I being real? But you are, right? Like whatever your face have on, like, you know, you are, whatever it is that's part of you is coming out, you know?
Yeah.
It is shining through, whatever face or mask you have on. But I think you can get closer to like this kind of core self, and that's really the work, which is like knowing yourself. There's a work to be done to know yourself, and the more you get closer to that and more confident you get, right? You know, we talk about building your confidence, and you know, as an immigrant you have this identity, and that might limit you because you might put those limitations on yourself. But if you can actually remove those like resistances,
Yeah.
it would be easier. It would become less effort to be you, right? And that is like something that I every single day I think like about. Like I'm obsessed about that.
About the true self, like your true self or other people's true selves.
Myself is in like knowing, understanding myself deeper, and also how to express that
To others.
in every situation.
Okay.
And it doesn't mean, you know, you could overcompensate. For example, like you're meeting some new people in a foreign environment. You know, I'm gonna be real.
Yes.
You know, with them, and you're kind of sort of overbearing.
Yeah.
You're kind of like trying to impose this like, I'm this, and I'm not gonna bend over for anybody. And there's this kind of forced nature. You know, it's force. It's not power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're
It's
not
not
empowered.
organic.
Yeah, it's not. It's just not. It's not you. Just like
It's not authentic. That's the word.
you're still kind of playing.
Yeah.
You playing to the audience.
Yes.
You know, you could just sit still and
Be.
be.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like plants. Like
plants,
animals.
like
and
animals.
But I have a lot of following questions now. Like, how? Because you're saying like showing your true self is also about knowing who you are, so you can show that. How well do you know yourself on a scale of 10? You think? Because you think about it all the time. So that's what I'm like.
I mean, I think
Just
it's,
like on top of head, give me a number.
I would say it's like a 8.
8?
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty good. That's
and
like a
the
B
9,
plus.
let's say 10 is like you know, there's nothing more to know. Let's say, right? Like you know everything.
10 is like God.
It's exactly. It's like
It's
God.
like
You're the creator.
the Dalai Lama, you know.
You're the
He
creator.
fucking knows everything
Yeah.
about himself and the world and humanity and like.
Yeah. And I would even say that's unattainable, right?
That's not unattainable. There's people, I think.
It's
who
almost
just-
pretentious. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, I guess. But I guess they also put themselves in a fixed mindset because I mean you stop learning.
Yeah, I completely believe. Yeah, like I
So
subscribe.
10 is bad.
10 is bad. If you are
You
10,
stop. You're stomping your growth.
you're stuck.
Yeah.
You stop growing.
It's true. But it's like God. God doesn't need to grow anymore.
He's
He's
infinite.
fucking 10.
Infinite. He's a 10, man. He's a 10. But
yeah, but he's not growing, you know, like I'd rather be like a 5 than being a 10 and be God. So fuck that.
I enjoy that process. And I enjoy the uncertainty of whenever there's things that I don't understand. Or like I throw myself into, I think one of the best ways that I do it, maybe you can tell me how you do it, is like I throw myself into situations that I don't know how to navigate, you know?
Yeah.
I'll put myself in situations that are foreign to me. And that's something maybe that comes from being an immigrant. I don't know. Like it's because that's always been the case.
Yeah.
It's just a constant. I was never put in a place where I was comfortable.
Yes.
Right. I always was uncomfortable and I had to figure it out. So maybe that helped like shape my character, and I still seek it because from that struggle, I gained like the resiliency and the persistency and like my own thought.
Yeah.
You know, I don't assume anything. Well, I try not to. You know, I question like everything to the extent that sometimes it's annoying, you know?
I feel
Sometimes
you.
you just want to like be certain.
Yeah.
Right. And I allow that, you know, but yeah, like I throw myself into situations just to see how I can expand my reality, and in that understanding I gain more like self-knowledge, right?
Yeah.
I hope I don't come off like, ooh, like, you know, guru, like it's like
No, no,
fucking,
no. But
but like
I
this
understand
is the process that I think about.
when you say you throw yourself in a situation that's completely foreign. Do you come in with an intention, or you like you
100%.
have fucking no idea what that's saying? You just go in that room, or you're like, okay, I'm just going back to this tattoo example because like we talked about it, and like tattoo is kind of like extreme to practice it. Not like extreme, but like, it's not very common.
Like try tattooing it for the first time
Yeah,
on a live
exactly.
person.
Like you're like, I want to do this. I want to try it. I've been tattooed. I want it. So this is completely foreign for me, and I did it. But I did it with a lot of intention because I wanted to learn, and I wanted to like give something that I'd be given to. So that's how I put myself in a foreign situation. I don't know if that's how you do it in your way, because that's what I'm saying. Like I do it in a very intentional way.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just like fucking threw yourself like in a random person's house and knock on someone's house and be like, hello.
Yeah, it's just like, hi, who's there? Like, who are you?
But that's not intentional. That's just random.
Exactly, it's random. I think intention is everything.
Yeah.
It's everything, I feel, and I could be wrong, but right now at this point, I feel like it's everything. You need to go into, I need to go into anything with my intention. Otherwise, it's completely meaningless. And like whatever I come out of, like when I come out of the other side,
Yeah.
like nothing will be gained because I didn't come in with any sort of meaning or input or
Yeah.
intention.
Totally.
You
I
know?
feel you. And
So-
also, I think like just for our audiences, like the word intent and like everything that's like mindfulness is super trendy. And like the way I see intent, it's not something like a grand or like like existential. It could be anything. It could just be
Yeah.
like I want to learn or like I'm curious. It could be a very general, generic, like abstract intention. But you have, you know, like you have some kind of like framework of thought, and then the learning that you get out of the situation could be completely different from your first intention. But at least you went into the situation with some kind of intent and purpose, no matter how vague it is, you know?
Yeah,
So,
like whenever there's that challenge or the obstacle within that unknown,
yeah,
like if you didn't have a reason to be there,
yeah,
like that challenge means nothing. Like
exactly.
why is there a struggle? Like why do I struggle with this situation?
Yeah.
And that in itself is the question I will ask
Yeah.
myself. Like why do I struggle with that?
Yeah.
It's easy for other people. Why is
Yeah.
it hard for me? So
Exactly.
that's the question I would pose myself, and that is the prompt for me to start understanding why.
Yeah.
What is the building block in myself, my identity, maybe my parents, maybe my friends, or whatever, like being an immigrant, like it could be so many things, but like that is the question that starts the process. And if you didn't have the intention, whatever that kind of hits you on the way and
It's
derailed
just
you,
chaos.
it's just chaos.
Yeah.
It's completely chaos, and life is chaotic.
Yeah.
But if you would, this is literally, I feel like how people get lost is because they don't have the intention.
Yeah.
I mean, life is so chaotic, and if
Yeah.
you just if you're always reacting to life,
It's tiring too.
it's
to just
tiring,
react.
and you lose yourself
Yeah.
in the chaos.
The intention is almost a buffer to prepare yourself
Yeah.
to the challenge who comes, because you don't have this buffer. You'll just be like you say, hit by like chaos and like chaotic events of situation. You'll be just like one like floating in the web and flow of like lives,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Is that a way to be though? Sometimes maybe like those hippie kind of like, you know, like, hey,
But that's
just go with the
even that's like
flow,
intention.
you
There's
know?
intention. You decided to go with flow
Yeah,
and to not hold things, to let things hold them back.
like no struggle.
That's kind of intent. Like
Yeah.
there's the intent behind that, you know?
Yeah, I kind of like people that struggle. I think I vibe with people who struggle. You
Yeah.
know, but they're not like bitter about it. They like it. Like they like
What kind of struggle
they
do
like
you
the
like?
pain.
Okay, I have so many questions about the true self that I'm like
Yeah, go.
rehearsing in my head so I don't forget. But like I want to come back to this question on struggles too. Like, do you like mental struggles, physical struggles, political struggles? Like we're gonna talk about struggles right after. So we were talking about revealing your true self to others. Do you think, and like you know how you had to practice those like introspection to better understand his true self and like hone it and like you know, so because you put so much effort, do you think the true self is very precious? So that is precious, right? Okay. If you think it's something that's very precious, do you think that everyone is worth of your true self? That was my question.
If your valuable true self, because you earned it, is it valuable for others? Is that the question?
Do you think everyone is worth of your true self?
Deserving of my true self?
Yes.
No.
Why?
Or maybe yes.
Why?
I mean, I would be real
I
with
understand
everybody.
my questions are very complex.
I believe.
We're just building that up.
Yeah, no, I think I'll just answer it the way I understand it. I think, yeah, I will try to be real.
Okay.
You know, but I don't have to be vulnerable with everyone. I will be real in that if I don't feel like we would connect in some way, and I try not to judge like that. I try to give. I want to be open minded. You know, if somebody I don't get them immediately, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I don't know, this person's not kind of, you know, we're not gonna get along. Like, no, I'm trying to be very open, but like, yeah, like I would choose carefully. Yeah, I would choose very carefully how I spend my time with people, and I think it's about having standards and
standards,
boundaries.
That's the word.
And that's just self respect.
Yeah.
And time is like so fucking precious that we just finish talking about like, where's time? You know, like we have no time.
So busy.
So we're so busy. This like modern life is so fucking busy. We barely have time to even think. So like,
that's true.
You know, I think time is precious, and I want to surround myself with people that are worth my time, in that like I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. I choose them, you know, and I love them so much. I love you.
I feel you. I love you too, man. So going back to the struggles.
Yeah.
You're
a good host. You're a good host.
I'm a good host, right? I told you I'm
You're gonna be my
good
co-host.
journalist, and like
true.
I make people think. I can backtrack my questions.
Excellent questions.
I make the conversation structured.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
very structured. I am the opposite. It could be the yin and yang.
It's not chaotic for our audience, you know. I think it's gonna be easier for you to edit if you're gonna edit that.
I don't edit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can't edit that out.
Naturalized.
So when you see you're drawn to people who have experienced struggles, why is that?
Sorry, what?
You say you're drawn to people who have experienced some kind of struggles. Why is that?
Maybe I have like distrust with people that haven't maybe faced many challenges. And I think everybody has challenges. I think everybody has problems. I'm not saying like my problem's bigger than theirs or whatever. I think everybody has it. But I think there is people can be empathetic or not. You know, you do have to kind of go through some things to understand things, right? You can empathize. Yeah. You can try to empathize. But we can talk about being immigrants because I know this. Yes. I've been through it, right?
I feel you.
And so I do seek. I don't even seek it. I just kind of find them naturally. You can just kind of spot them.
Yeah.
You can kind of see them and the way they carry themselves. And you can sort of feel that this person is very intentful, or that they have had to work on themselves to find a way, which wasn't so obvious because the world maybe wasn't built for them necessarily. So we had to forge that path, and that like making that path yourself is I think unique to kind of immigrants, or I'm not gonna discount, you know, like, let's say the mainstream, the unicultural, like the dominant culture, like, you know, everybody has that, you know, everybody has to find their own way. But I do think, some people will have it easier. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think some people have privilege. Yes. It's, you know, I think it might be like this very loaded term these days, like privilege, you know, and it
But
could
I think
trigger
it's
people.
good to point it out
100%.
because when you have privilege, oftentimes you don't see it, and that's like
That's
when
why
it
it's
comes to
privilege.
white
You
privilege
don't need
and
to.
all that, and that's where its privilege comes from. You don't see it, so if no one's calling them out, they're not gonna see it. And like I'm not saying by calling out we're changing, we're turning the needles or we're changing times. No, but like we're just making people more, we're awakening the people, like we're making people more woke, basically, like
Woke.
more aware, woke. I fucking hate that term.
You're so woke.
But you know what I mean?
Bro.
It's like, and I feel you about the struggles and relating to stories of struggles and even like histories of struggles. You know, if you're going back to our background and our ancestors, our origin story of immigrant, and like if you think about it, like our parents had to survive. Like if we're talking about struggle in the terms of survival, they had to literally like financially survive, and like some of them had to physically survive. Like I'm talking about refugees and that, or like people who fled wars or like difficult economical situations, or and then often for the second generation or like us, we're still first generation, but like 1.5 generation because we came here when we were younger. That's a new term. We had to survive too, you know, like right now we're still surviving, but it's like mental and psychologically, like you said, like these imposter syndromes all the time, or like feeling that you're not good enough to hang out with those white people, or feeling you never fit in. Like this is constant survival. This is a different survival than your parents who had to fucking like physical, like financially survive. But this mental survival, it's really a big struggle.
It's
and
taxing.
It's taxing, and that's a struggle that's very unique and no everyone can understand. So I'm just gonna see that as this cycle of survival. And to this point, my question is, how do you think we can break this cycle of survival so you don't pass it down to your children? Because at some point they're gonna survive too somehow, but it might be transformed, you know, like in another form. I don't know how it's gonna be for our kids, but
Yeah, great question. I think I could tie that question into like the thematic of this podcast, like
naturalized.
authenticity and honesty and expression, and having this like a genuine conversation and expression. I think the one way I see it, if I have kids, for example, I want to teach them to be, just, I would give them so much positive feedback about who they are.
Yeah.
And maybe, you know, the environment outside of the house might be contradictory. They might feel like, oh, I am different at some point. You know, you hit that as you age as a kid. But I would give them a lot of encouragement about being really fucking authentic, and I have to do that by example.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, you have to show the
like
way.
I want them to feel no shame, no resistance about who they are, and I think in 2023 there's more room for that. But I think there is still going to be resistance from outside.
Yeah.
But I want them to be completely themselves, and that even when people are going to judge you, I want to give them the strength to just carry on, and like I don't want to give them the burden of having to go even deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like I had to do the deep thinking. I want to give them like, no, just be yourself. End of story. Just be yourself.
It's a bit like we're saying, like when you're a kid, the fact you don't speak the language, you're scared to take the space, but now you have the equipments to take the space. You know, you have the confidence, the baggage, so you take that fucking space, so your kids can live in that space and just fucking enjoy that space, and then they already have a safe space, so they can just build their own space in a very intentional way, whereas they don't necessarily have to fight for their space, you know.
I think there will be struggle inevitably, but yeah, like I think the mindset and the thinking that I would instill in, like if I have kids, is like you can make that space through like unashamed expression of yourself, and without even the explanation. Like we're doing a lot of explaining. It's very intellectual, but like let's say an artist, who is just like has such a good like stage presence. Like, they just have it.
It's a feeling.
They just have it. When you see an artist who performs
Yeah.
on stage and they have it, you just know. You can see it. And like that person inspires people.
It's like the
And let's say that
fire.
person, it's a fire. It's like the sun. It's just
It's a
burning. It has
fire,
like
yeah.
infinite energy source. It's like, and when you see that kind of person, let's say that person's Asian. I just need to see that. That's plenty.
Do you think I have that?
That literally moves people, right? And people that might be, let's say, not Asian. Let's
Yeah.
say you're white, black, whatever. But they see that and they feel that. That in itself is like enough to like inspire change.
Do you think I'm like
Without
that?
this intellectual talking, right? When you see someone great, you fucking know,
Yeah.
right? And if like I want them to feel like that, like yeah, you don't need to explain yourself. Just
Yes.
like just shine bright, shine
Yeah.
fucking bright, and like that's how I would like teach them. And then
Yes.
maybe when they're older, they'll like intellectualize and like have a podcast and like
Yeah.
don't do that
And
shit.
download all these emotions
Yeah,
and
but like
rationalize
and
it.
they'll rationalize and like become.
But I think that's what you're saying. It's very powerful, this feeling of strength and power. That's just representation. Like seeing that, like that fucking Asian person who's
Slaying.
who can do it all, like
Yeah.
who own their truth. That's how I feel when I see the cast of Everything Everywhere All at Once taking all the awards. They fucking take everything, and I'm like,
Isn't that so
yes.
fucking nice?
Like I feel good. I feel like I'm rooting. Like I
good.
see this. I can't wait for the Oscars for them to take over everything because it's about fucking time. And like,
Yeah.
man, like the rise of the Asian, like Slasians.
Slasians.
But
Wow.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about a lot of things previously, and like now we're actually putting on top of the stuff we visited earlier during our dinner. So like compassion, empathy, struggles. But it's interesting, like talking about generations, the next generations, and the legacy you want to leave behind, because that's something we didn't talk about. So what's the legacy? I know this sounds like a very grand word, but it can be something that's very simple that you want to leave to your kids.
Damn. You're completely taking over the show. Is that just your journalistic side that comes out?
Yeah, but
You
like
feel?
that's how I interact with people, and
Yeah,
like
you are. Yes, you do. Yeah.
I just like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Like, what do you think about this? And
Well, let me ask you. Like, I'm gonna answer that, but like if you have kids, like, what would you
Yeah.
like? What would be like that thing that you wanna like, pass on?
so I think about that a lot lately, actually, about kids. Oh my god, like that's something I don't really
Do you want
talk
kids?
publicly. I do want kids, and like I always wanted kids, and I always be very like transparent about it. Like I see myself being a mom. Like I feel like a mom. Like I can, you know how
What do you mean by that?
it's like, I'm not pregnant, but you know how sometimes you don't have something, but you still can imagine yourself. It's like a relationship, for example. It's like, oh, like right now I'm single, but like I could see myself in a committed relationship, married, going this road trip with this person to New York or living together, you know? And I do have that with children, you know? I see myself like, strange enough, like I was in Barbados at this beautiful botanical garden that you read, Hans Garden, super beautiful with orchids. It's built on a natural crater terraces, because Barbados is an island made of limestone. So it's a lot of terraces, and that garden is kind of like in a sinkhole. It's fucking beautiful. Like after my experience, I was really moved, like to be surrounded by so much beautiful thing and so much beauty, and to know that it exists just outside our city. And I was like, this is something I want to show to my kids. Like that specific thing, I could see myself taking my fucking children that I don't have to that fucking garden in fucking Barbados, you know? That's what I mean. Like, I imagine myself. So that's like in the last 2 years, everything that's really impactful. I had this like little glimpse of future me being like, I could show that to my kids. I could teach that to my kids. I want this for my kids that I don't have. So I don't have a specific thing that I want to leave to my kids, but I know I see it now as I'm older, and that's something I want. But in terms of something concrete, for sure, like my culture, like my Chinese culture, Mandarin. I want my kids to speak my language, the language of their grandparents, of their ancestors. I want them to speak French and English just like me, and probably another language because I want my kids to be better. But I want this to come from them, you know. But I want to teach them the fact that they want to explore languages and like expand. So they will end up speaking five languages even if I don't force it, because they're gonna do it by their own self. That's what I mean. I wanna like show them like beautiful stuff, beautiful music, beautiful movies, beautiful like nature, the stuff I find beautiful. And I want them to show that to me too, because eventually I'll be an old fart and not know and not be as cool as I am today. So my kids can show that to me, you know. I want them to fight for themselves when I can fight for them. I want them to fight for the people they love too, and to like to live life like plan like fully, and to be like just kind, generous people.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But those are like vague things. But I think the Chinese culture is more concrete. Like definitely food. I want them to be curious. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, like you will probably make a pretty kick-ass mom. Like
I'm
pretty
gonna be
pretty
like
cool mom.
Evelyn
Pretty
and
cool
everything
mom.
all at once.
Yeah.
After her realization.
Yeah, yeah. Man, imagine you're the mom.
My god.
Jesus, when is that gonna be? Is it soon?
I don't know. But like I why not? Like I could see
Yeah.
myself. Like
Do you think you're gonna have to like what's gonna change? Do you think in your day to day?
I think I'm gonna be obsessed with my kids.
You're gonna be obsessed.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fucking
That's gonna be your
obsessed
art.
with-
Like that's your masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I think I'm gonna be all about my kids. Like I
Yeah,
could say it.
totally.
Like I'm gonna just build my schedule around my kids,
Yeah.
invest everything about my kids, and
Cool, man.
travel with
That's cool.
them.
That's cool. Actually fun. That I'm really happy to hear that. Like, yeah, you, like, because you're such a career lady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And then like, I'm not saying like if you have a career you can't have babies, but like I'm not saying that, but like, you know, you're so engaged in your work.
yeah.
Like when would you have like when would you do it?
But it's like the only reason you call those things work is because we live in a capitalist like society and we need to pay people, and there's essentially call it work. But I call them my endeavors, my dreams, my passion, and kids are my dreams too. And they're not mutually exclusive. At the end of the day, it's a question of time. You know, how
It's
I'm
just
gonna
ti-
invest
it's
my
just time.
time.
Yeah.
It's just time, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, how about you? Like, what do you want to leave to your kids?
Oh yeah, I just answered that one. That was like, you know, I want to teach them like authenticity and to be really proud of who they are, and really be unapologetic about it. Yeah. And I want them to do it with like 110% like power. I want to make them powerful.
I want
You
to
know?
teach my kids kung fu,
Yeah.
and like really badass kung fu, like Bruce Lee style,
Totally.
weapons. You know, like
Yeah.
something I don't know how to do.
Yeah. Martial arts. I want to do martial arts.
You
And
should do
yeah.
martial arts. Yeah.
I want to do it. Yeah, there's a lot of good I think that comes from it. Cool, man. Kids. I mean, I don't know when I'm gonna have kids, but like, I should start fucking working on it. You know, I gotta find a girlfriend first. But I already decided I'm not gonna be. I'm gonna be
Dating
single.
this year?
Well, I'm gonna be dating.
Is that something you're gonna bring up at every episode?
I'm just saying.
So you know, like how it's like self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you wanna
Yeah,
manifest it,
pretty
make
much.
sure
Mm-hmm.
every episode you're like, I'm gonna be single this whole year.
Mm.
But like, is single like a status or like a mindset for you?
Okay, I would say it's more of just a title. It's a label that we
Okay, like a
talked about
status.
label.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's just how I would explain it to people
Okay, okay.
in
okay.
in one word. Like
okay, but
yeah,
not like a.
like I will have relationships, I'm gonna have relationships, right?
Yeah.
But my relationship will like be kind of ambiguous to people. Like they wouldn't really understand.
Okay,
or,
so
like,
it's like you say you want to be single as a status, a label thing to communicate with the rest of society. That's
basically.
what I mean. Okay, but it's not like a single mindset.
No, not like I don't want to date. I don't.
Okay,
I'm
I
going
hate
to.
people.
I'm going to not talk to women for a year.
Okay,
No,
I
I will
see.
talk to probably more women because I'm single, you know, and I will have relationships, but I'm gonna be very strict about, I can't be in a committed
Yeah,
relationship. Like, oh, you're my girlfriend. Like,
yeah,
no
like labels things.
labels. Fuck
Okay,
labels. For now,
so wait, I want to hear about Fabio's question.
I mean, I can't say. He didn't leave me a list, you know.
Oh, okay. Anyways, moving on.
But I mean,
Fabio, if you
honestly,
can
I
send
can
them
I
to
can
me.
we talked about open relationships. We
Yeah.
talked about marriage. We talked about that kind of stuff because we like to touch on it. So like we had that to ask you, right? Like just
Yeah.
as a girl, perspective from a girl, like what do you look for in a man? Like simple shit like that. It could go from that.
I,
It could
I had a
go
question for you. It's like,
yeah.
what are you looking at a girl on a first date? I have
On a
like
first date.
yeah.
Just that we have a good time. That
What
we
is a
we
good
vibe.
time?
Good time for me would be good conversation.
Like, would
That
you
we
show your
laugh.
true self,
I will try my best. Yeah,
regardless of who it is?
of course.
That's good.
Well, I need to put my flag up.
Yeah, but maybe the true self fucking sucks. Sometimes my true self, it's not at its best, so I don't show. It's tired,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes I feel tired. I don't really even want to go on this date.
Yeah.
Let's say, oh fuck, like I've been looking forward to this, but man, it's been a long week. Let's say it's like Thursday night.
Yeah.
Like so dead, and I have shit to do tomorrow morning. I have this thing I have to be finish, and
Yeah.
I'm not completely done. I'm like stressing.
Yeah.
I'm not in my best mindset.
Yeah.
Do I really want to go see that person? Not really,
Yeah.
but I'll do my best. I might even say it, like like man, this week has been so fucking crazy, and I'm tired. So like, just telling you that, but like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be there and be like try to be like, no, like that's what I mean. It's like I just want to be like, here's the deal. Like I'm tired, and I'll just try to laugh about it. Like
Yeah.
I'll laugh at myself. Like if I say something dumb, like just know I'm fucking tired. So
What do you talk about on a first date?
like, what do you talk about?
No, but like this is my question to you, and you can ask me the same question after. Like, let's say we're on a date, like on a first date. Like-
This would be like a super fucking deep date, huh? Like wow, it's like you're deep.
Oh, but like this is not a dating thing. I had this thing with a colleague of mine recently. It's someone that I've never worked with. So I have this agency work, and we had like on our first like workshop together. I briefed him on the project, and then we went to super deep conversation about like believing in gods and like the good and bad of religions, why martial arts matter, like really deep conversation I don't even have with my like some of my friends, and I'm like, wow, like that was exhausting. Like I think my day was like, damn, I was fucking exhausted.
Was that a good date?
I mean, it was a good like a first impression because then we could work on our projects really easily. And I'd be like,
Work on what?
because we were paired on the project.
Okay.
Because our first like encounter was like really deep conversation. So you cannot like unblock a lot of things. So afterwards, it's like,
Yeah.
just like do this, do that, and like we make it happen. Like do this mock up, and like we did everything really easy without any like feeling weird because we already talked about gods and death and like afterlife. Like all that shit.
Yeah.
With like a total random strangers. So
Do you find that you
after
you go deep with like everybody?
No.
Do you
some-
find that you're like one of those people that
No.
like no?
I really okay. So that's a good question. Is that our date? Are we doing our like a date simulation?
If you want to.
So you ask people that, like, are you a deep or shallow person before you engage a date? So you can like judge the
There's
conversation.
like fill out this like questionnaire and like I'll
How
calibrate
deep are you? Are you the
from a
coral
scale of 1 to
reef
10.
or the Mariana Trench?
Yeah.
I would say sometimes I'm like the coral reef, the Greek coral reef, really beautiful, really shallow water with a bunch of like fish and corals. And sometimes I'm like the Mariana Trench. But in the Mariana Trench, there's not a lot of oxygen, like and it's very, very deep and very, very dark.
Suffocating.
It's fucking
High
suffocating.
pressure.
So I would say like most of the times I'm like coral reef, but like my mind can dive really deep. So that's why the people who are close to me, they're like, I like being surrounded with coral reef people, because if we're all always in the Mariana Trench, that's fucking hardcore. And like when I was younger, like remember Gabby, my friend Gabby? She was a bassist and we played music together. Gabrielle. She was so intense and we got along so well. I was like, I think she's to this day one of my most like deepest, most intense relation I've ever had. Like it was brave. She was like a fucking like shooting star in my life, and it was fucking like bright fire intense. But God, like we're like drowning in the Mariana Trench. So it's just not sustainable. But like those relations are super fulfilling somehow, and I learn a lot. And I will always remember more than like the coral reefs relationship. But it's so nice, you know.
Yeah,
but like when I was younger, I had a really hard time being friend with coral reef people because I did not accept this level. I couldn't meet them there. But as I thought everyone was able to be flexible as I am and go to really deep conversation. But as I got, I realized not everyone's there. Some people are just really shallow and basic, and they're super nice, and I love that, and I accept that.
I wonder.
And I'm just like, okay, go. Like that's it. And like it's nice. And I have friends that I know for a long time who are just like coral reef people, and it's nice too. It's less challenging, and it's just you need a good balance. It's like you eat some meat, some vegetables, some other things, something in a relationship. You can't all be like caviar, like Mariana Trench, like bagel energy, you know,
Bagel
like
energy.
from everything around at once, you know.
Yeah.
Like the fucking bagel energy. That's the whole humanity, like chaos.
That's so
It
heavy.
can
That
be.
bagel's so heavy.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, like that's my take on this. So not everything's deep.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, you know, when you said like the coral reef people,
Yeah.
because I tried to be coral reef, you know, but
Yeah.
I know that I can be fucking like
Mariana Trench.
Mariana Trench, you know.
Yeah.
That I like goofing off and being stupid.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that, you know.
Yeah.
But I do need both.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
There's
used
a
to be like,
balance.
as you said, when I was younger, I had trouble like relating with the coral reef people because they're just like
I love your analogy. Imagine
that's a
someone
great one. I was
just
thinking how great that
listens
was.
to
Yeah.
this part and then be like Mariana Retrieval.
It's a great metaphor.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm gonna use that all the
I
time.
thought of this before. See,
You
this
thought of
is what
this?
I said, like rehearsed, because those are
Oh.
analogies I've used before with other people.
Great.
So this is no premiere. I
Great.
use that.
Thank you for making this like so amazing. And
Yeah, so you can use that. You can take.
I'll
too.
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I used to think like, yeah, I couldn't relate with them because I was very introspective. I'm an introvert for sure.
Yeah.
People think I'm an extrovert, which surprises me. And you know what? Nowadays, I'm thinking like those terms are kind of fucking relevant.
Like ambivert, it doesn't matter.
It's
like,
really just it's just
all,
like whatever you
it's
tell yourself.
labels,
It's fucking
like,
labels, and it's like we're actually everything. And
yeah, if you tell yourself an introvert, you're gonna act like an introvert. And that's it.
You know, yeah. I just do value my time, my time alone to think and, you know, reflect and things like that, which is like I think everybody would benefit from.
Yeah.
Just some people don't, and it's okay because they're happy, they're cool,
Yeah.
they're doing just fucking fine, you know, and that's good. That's good.
But like, would you date? Let's say you're gonna first date. The whole reason we brought back this like Pacific Ocean analogy is because we're talking about first date. So you go on a date, and you want to keep it like coral reef level at first because like, but you could do Mariana Trench either way. It doesn't matter, you know.
You know, like you said, like if it was a
with
little,
my colleague,
yeah,
I
if
was
it
like,
was with your
"Bleh."
colleague, and it depends on the purpose.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm meeting somebody, a girl, who I want to spend a lot of time with in the future, maybe we're gonna build something together, maybe have a family. I don't know. Like I want to be able to have fun all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be always fun. It's just that I want to be able to find humor.
Yeah.
No matter what, you know, we could be having a hard time, but we at the end of the day, I want to still be able to like enjoy being with her.
Yeah.
And we can laugh about stupid shit, and I can be like myself, you know, and that's funny to her. Like me being myself would be funny, and that would be good for her, and like she feels good, and vice versa, right? So like, I can talk about deep shit all fucking day. I can do that any day, right?
But would you mind if she's only coral reef? She only lived through
I
the
think it
coral reef. Like
depends,
she's like she's fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's a clownfish living
Yeah.
around the corals. She's a
Yeah.
fucking clownfish. Which
Maybe that's good too. I don't know. That's something I need to find out because like
okay.
like they say the opposite attract,
Yeah.
right? And if I am that introspective person, maybe it's nice to have like somebody who's just like super
Clownfish.
clown, extrovert, happy go lucky, that thing everything just is great,
Yeah.
and that they are just always looking at the positive things, and that might be good,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I recently like met up with my ex, and I asked her like, what didn't work with about us, and what do you think? No, and then what works with the new relationship? And she's like, well, I need like a rock, and like because
Yeah.
my ex and I were very similar, we're always kind of jumping into things, and like
Yeah.
we could go do anything on like that, right?
Yeah.
But like with the new guy, he's more like at home, he
Mm-hmm.
cooks, he just like does, he's simple, he kind of like
Yeah.
grounded, and just like a rock.
Mm-hmm.
And
Home
she,
base.
yeah, home base, and she likes that now. She
Mm-hmm.
appreciates that. Whereas with me, it was like, do this, do that, do that, boom, boom, boom,
Mm-hmm.
adventures, and I
But it's
continue.
also like an age thing.
It's
you
also
know?
an age thing, I
When you're
think.
younger, you're less busy, so you can do this,
You
do
want
that.
adventures when you're younger.
Yeah,
When we
but
were
also you
young.
have time to do this, do that. Like right now,
Yeah.
I cannot go on an adventure. Do that. I had to
Mhm.
plan.
Mhm.
Even now, it's like we're saying, I book my friends in their Google
Yeah,
Calendar.
like
to
here,
do
like
things.
look at my calendar and like put yourself in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a slot like between my meeting and whatever else. Yeah, it can, yeah, for sure age does matter. I think as you age your priorities change, and me too. Like I want to chill out. I
Mm-hmm.
like chilling out, and I don't want to be always running around, right?
Is this getting too long?
No.
Okay.
Um,
I want to ask you more about your potential future baby mama, and so you want someone who's funny. Like I get that you keep saying humor is key, it's important. What else are you looking for into a potential partner that's worthy of your true self?
I feel like I'm on like a dating, you know, uh, website, and I'm like doing a
A checkbox thing,
checkbox thing,
but that's catered to you. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna do one that's
This is my
catered-
resume.
Yeah. But
Um,
I mean, like I'm asking the questions that you might not have thought of it, and then you know yourself better, and then you're gonna give yourself a better presentation next time you go on a date.
Well, that's the question of like what do I want in a girl?
Yeah. Like humor, I got that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, I don't know, to be honest. I think I know, but
But
like,
like you want them to be like somewhat attractive, like
yeah,
you
sure.
can be like anything.
I mean,
like,
I'm moved. I'm always like movable, like influential. I can be influenced, and like I like
do you want
many
them
people.
to be like a certain group age, certain jobs?
No,
You want them to be
maybe, but I can't even tell you because that would just limit me. Like I don't know. Like I'm okay, like one of the reasons why I would say like I want to be single this year
You wanna
because I want to
explore.
test my own assumptions.
But like like I get you. Like it's like how I see like relationships in general. It's like before, like I said, I was exclusively dedicating my friendships and my relationships to like Mariana Trench divers. But now I'm like really open to like wherever you live in the Pacific Ocean. But like a like broader strokes of things you want. It's like I want them to care, to be always on time, or like to be organized. Like there's things you can say
Yeah.
it's like the whole fucking planet is suitable for you.
No, of course not. Yeah, there are things that's like I like,
Like who
I
have
like a girl who
some
is
financial stability.
yeah, I like a
who's-
girl who like has her own
who can
ambitions.
cook. Yeah, okay, see.
I like a girl who has her own ideas and opinions about things, might even have unpopular ideas, that she's not
You're
gonna
a Trump
just follow.
supporter.
Well,
Do you
yeah,
like
why?
Trump
Yeah,
supporters?
I mean, like, wow, that's interesting. Like, why? Like that would pique my interest. Like, why though? You know, and if she has a sound reason from her own perspective
Right.
and on her own life, and like it makes sense, then I would respect her
Yeah.
a lot. I would actually like that girl a lot, even if she was like a Trump supporter and said like crazy shit. you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
would probably
'Cause you'll
I
learn
would
from
like, and
that.
if she respects me back,
Yeah.
then I'll give her that space that we can talk about it. Because for me, that's awesome. I love that. I love that we can just like, you know,
Debate.
if somebody disagrees with me, has like opposing views about the world or whatever, which is how the world is. Like if everybody's different, and I want, like, if I believe in freedom and like my own, the right for me to hold my
Yeah.
own opinion, I hold that for everybody else. I want everybody to have that same right. So like, I want them to, but if they are respectful enough to just sit and talk like that, I would love that person
Yeah.
so much.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool. Okay,
that's
so
awesome. Like that's
li-
rare though, right? Like people usually argue back and forth,
it's true.
and like for
That
me,
is rare.
open-mindedness is so key for me.
Mm.
Um, Somebody who thinks for herself and has that kind of open, like big vessel. Let's say like her cup is big, you know, like has a big heart, like big heart, compassionate, affectionate. That would be super big, yeah.
See, everything you describe is super specific, and it's not everyone
Yeah, I
who's
just I it was like kind of like, yeah.
compassionate, big vessel heart with big chambers,
Chambers. Yeah. Yeah.
and humor
Humor.
and Trump supporter, and so it's like it's very specific. I cannot imagine
Yeah.
this girl is among our audiences, but okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a Trump supporter, obviously. That's like a joke, right? But
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if that girl like walks into my life, I would be fascinated probably. But like,
It's true.
I would probably be skeptical. But yeah, yeah, that those things. I mean, just the openness, man, and like the capacity to um be be compassionate. Like that's so key for me, and like um emotionally intelligent.
What about like intelligent?
I think like, you know, as a person who's just single, right? And
Yeah.
like you meet people, I find like a lot of people just like are still going through a lot of they have a lot of things to figure out themselves, you
Yeah.
know? And so they're not actually able to love properly. Or like everybody,
What's loving
I
properly?
think everybody wants the love, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a human need, I think. But like the communication and like the self-awareness that goes into like really loving somebody. And when I say the right way, like I'm not saying there's one specific way, but like we were saying like earlier before we even recorded, I think I observe that everybody's kind of needy or
Yeah.
like possessive, and that's their version of what love should be. There's like there's this shape and form that people
It's exclusive.
there's an expectation of
Yeah.
love that we all have that's different, that's depending on our conditioning from our childhood and all this stuff, and maybe you have
Society.
society, trauma, whatever, you know, things are, you are conditioned.
Yeah.
There is kind of a pre-program inside of you that you follow until you become self-aware, and then maybe some of those things are not serving you, and you grow out of it, and you start to maybe look for people that's actually going to love you wholesomely and not expect you to fit into their version of what they need. And there's this kind of expectation, like you seek the thing you want, you look for the things that you want in the people, even if that person is not that person.
It's like 500 Days of Summer. Have you seen that movie?
You say that, that's so funny. The girl I was just spending time with was saying that this movie
Yeah.
just dropped
Have
the
you
movie.
seen it?
No, but I'm gonna watch it
But
now
that's
because
like a cult classic about
yeah,
boy meets girls and boy projecting
projecting his idea.
ideals to her and loving that. But then he becomes
I'm
completely
not that guy. Or
disillusioned.
like, yeah, I'm not that girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. But like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the movie you're describing. But I think what you say about love is really interesting. Like, because of the way our society is structured, or like we've been socialized, we think of love as very transactional. So it's very finite. You know, like if I give you like two loves, like I'm talking about dollars, like two loves, I expect two loves from you, and that's the whole amount of love I have, and I can't give more. And I give this to you, I give this to you, I give this to you. Let's say I have 10 loves, I give one to my friends, five to my partner, like one to my other friends, and then I have no more love. But love is not like that, you know. Like love is infinite. love is like God, like we were saying, it's a fucking 10, and but it still no, actually it still grows. So once you stop thinking of love as a very transactional and very fixed quantity, I think that's when you become less needy and possessive,
I agree.
because you're like, wow, there's just so much love in this room and
there's
floating
infinite
around us,
amount.
and like
Yeah.
as long if I want to create love, I'll do it. Like I'll manifest it. Like
Did you always feel like that you had like this like a capacity?
I think I always did. Like
Yeah.
growing up, I always felt like that. So when I was in
Did you
China,
get your heart broken ever?
I have, but like most of the times I'm very like generous about it. I'd be like, all right, okay, well, moving on, whatever. Like I'll learn about it. I will not get my heart broken again. It's like a learning experience.
Yeah.
But I'm not resentful. Like I don't hate anyone. I don't care. Like if you want to be friends, talk about it. Yeah, sure, like whatever. But and I think I'm the same with people too. If like you did something wrong, I'm probably not gonna maintain this relationship. You know, like I want to avoid harm as a person, but I'm not gonna like hate you and like you're resentful and like hold a grudge, like because that's energy, you know. And like
It's energy.
at the end of the day, I don't feel good. Like the grudge I'm holding makes me angry, makes me sick, makes me depressed, and it does not project any extra harm, and like it turns the other people off around me. So I don't want that energy.
Yeah.
So I just like
Yeah.
dissipate that in my mind.
Yeah. I agree.
I try.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but like I try. Especially like in a busy life, in a workplace when it's very stressful, sometimes you feel angry because you feel people are doing you wrong, but you have to let it go and trying to problem solve.
Yeah. Like
And
it's
hold hands.
literally useless.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Sometimes-
it takes energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes, you know what I always tell myself? I think something my dad tells me is like, I just need to be the bigger person.
Yeah, take the high road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you do it, even though maybe you weren't in the wrong or whatever, be the bigger person, and both of you will feel better at the end of the day. And that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's fucking lit.
That's it.
But that's like maturity, like you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It is easy to get caught up in it.
Because
especially
we're
if you're
very
younger.
emotional, you know.
Yes, we're emotional, and we have those emotions, and it's one of those things I think it's important is like don't judge those things. You know, like if you feel angry, you probably have the right to be angry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yes.
It doesn't make you a bad person. But like when you kind of take time to breathe and just calm
Yes.
down, and then you can make like a better decision about like, you know, if I steep to that anger, if I answer that anger and respond reactively to that person, I'm just playing their game.
Yes.
You know, and you waste your fucking
Self-fulfilling
time.
prophecy.
You
You're
waste
gonna
your fucking
prophesize
time.
that
Yeah.
they think you're an asshole. You're gonna be a fucking asshole
Yeah.
because you're just responding to their anger.
You're basically becoming what they want you to be. So it's
Yeah.
like, I'm not that person. This is actually where I'm going that way. So like,
Yes.
you know, I forgive you.
If you wanna stay here and rot,
Yeah.
that's your
That's
problem.
your
But I
problem.
wanna move on and expand.
I have other shit to do. I'm busy.
Exactly.
I don't have time for this.
I don't have time for this. I don't have find this for you.
Exactly.
I had to find my baby mama.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm busy, man. I'm looking for my girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, okay, I have a question for you. Like for me, maybe again, it doesn't really show. Like I'm always like you say, intellectualizing everything, and like this is my core values. So right now I'm in a cool place. I'm in a safe place. I can express them easily to you. But when I get confronted to a situation of like fight or flight, or like of anger, of injustice, of stress, I get very emotional. My immediate reaction is emotion because I care. So how can I like what can I do with that?
How do you navigate that?
Yeah.
Well, what would be your in those situations? What is your
Like I cry.
desired?
I fucking
outcome?
cry sometimes. Like
You're
I think
overwhelmed.
yeah. So I would say I want, for example, not to cry. Like the crying, I can help. I'm like chaotic, but then it's like
Does that
I
happen
would
in a
think
moment, or do you like go hide and like cry?
it happens in the moment because it's like very emotional in the moment. But then it's like I said, I just cool down and then I'm myself again, and then I just rationalize out and I'm better. Like everything we just said, but on that very immediate moment when that thing is happening, I can get very emotional and it just shows, and it's really hard to navigate that.
Yeah.
But maybe like you say, it's not a bad thing. Just let your
Yeah.
feeling go and cry.
Yeah, I think it is true because when you're facing the world outside, you know,
Yeah.
maybe when you're not, let's say, in the safe place, like you're here with me,
Yeah.
and I feel comfortable, and I'm just talking with my friend, you know,
Yeah.
and I can tell you anything. But if you're out at work, you
Yes.
know, and there's like this dynamic going on that you're not feeling good about, and somebody is maybe doing something that you feel like they're out to get you or something. You could have even delusional, but you feel it, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, so like that feeling is real to you, even if it's like maybe not real, but like in those situations it is hard. It is That's just life. Like life sometimes sucks, you
It's
know,
a
like
struggle sort of
life
talking
sucks
about.
sometimes, and like you have to put on a face, put on your game face, not show weakness, because like you said, I think the world is not a like I believe it is, you know. I believe the world is fucking beautiful.
Yes.
The world is fucking beautiful. I
Yes.
love the world. I love life. I love everybody. But really, realistically, there are sharks.
Yeah.
The life isn't fair.
It's hard.
People don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, someone will take advantage. If you're down, somebody will just step on your back.
Exactly.
You know, and so there is a game
Yes.
in the real world.
Yes.
In life, as much as I believe everything's great, we're all God's fucking creation or whatever. We're all one, you know. But like in the game of life, it's a fucking game,
Yes.
and somebody who will take advantage of your weakness will take advantage. So, having said that, yeah, it is hard, and sometimes it is a struggle to keep those emotions in check. I am very emotional too, and I catch myself getting very reactive. And that response I am very aware of. That's why for me, meditation is very important to me. Yoga is very important to me. Exercising is because like I said, the emotions like it live in your body. It's not like a thought.
Yeah.
It's very much how your body reacts.
Yes.
You know, like your breathing, your heartbeat, your muscles tense. You start to have like tensions.
Yeah.
It's a physiological experience. So like doing those exercises actually make you more aware. So I think I have become better at it because like back when I was younger, when I have these stressful situations, I would like run away.
Yeah.
I would just
Flight
like
rather than
I would
fight.
stop talking. I would just I would
Freeze.
shut down
Yeah.
basically.
I know people like that.
It's fight or flight, and I still do it. And because I think I am kind of sensitive, but I think I have learned to understand that process more, so I can kind of deal with it better. I don't think there's a one trick thing that you can do. It's just like learning the tools to
But I
deal
think
with it.
meditation is good. Like
Yeah.
something.
Meditation is really, really
Like
good.
what are like you've named a few, but what are situations in life that make you very emotional? Like it really gets you, you know, in your guts, and like you said, this physical reaction. What are things that make you situations that make you very emotional? Like, can I answer my own question
Yeah,
for me?
go for it.
Like for me, is when I experience, like right now as I'm telling you, I can feel it because it's like triggering, you know, like and I go fetch those memories from those situations. It's like when I experience a deep sense of injustice, I get very emotional. Like it just gets me and it's immediate. I get angry, I cry, it's overwhelming. So when I experience a deep sense of injustice towards me or toward the people I care, it's like I can't. I just get so emotional.
Yeah.
Like at work, that's a good example. I don't want to deep into that, but there were a few instances where there was like really intense like moments that I had to just like crying for a lot of people, and that was like not me because I'm so like chill and like just like don't like carefree. And other moments I remember really when I was a kid, when I saw my mom experiencing like a case of like racism on the street. I just like started crying, but I was like fucking 7, and like they didn't even, yeah. And then it was just like, oh my god, like just my body is like my immediate reaction is just like, it's almost like anger, you know,
It's
like.
anger.
So for me, those are situations when there's like a situation of deep injustice. That's what gets me, you know.
Yeah. I totally I have the same I sympathize with that.
Yeah, you feel that too? You have
So
that too?
much.
Yeah.
So much. Yes. I do have anger in me. I do have anger.
Do you think it's a repressed anger that gets?
Yes. Yes. And it's a lifetime of it. So it's like
It's like trauma.
it's 100% trauma. It is
Yeah.
100% trauma. It's so much so that you have this reaction when you are triggered, when you put yourself back in that.
Yeah.
Your body goes back and you have the same fucking reaction. And your body, there's a really good book called Your Body Keeps a Score. Body Keeps a Score. And it's by trauma therapist, or I can't remember what he does, like title. But he's basically an expert, practicing expert, and goes through all that. Really good. I would recommend like an audiobook version because it's very heavy.
I'll listen to it.
It's a lot of heavy stuff, like war, like sexual abuse, and people that have been victims of these type of things and have gone through horrible experiences, and how they go through these, how to heal from it. It's actually extremely informative for me because of what we were talking about. Understanding how your mind body is connected, and how your body remembers everything, even if you don't understand it.
Yes.
And the emotions, are something that I really have been focused on more to understand in the recent years, like,
Yes.
you
in
know,
the recent years.
and my life is so much better for it. Anger, for example, like racist injustices, to me,
Yes.
the same thing. I feel like a deep sense of anger.
Yes, towards me
and
or my community, my kind. Like we're talking about, like I'm committed to the people that I bring into my fold. So when I feel attacked or I feel they're being attacked, I have this anger that comes across as cry.
yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just to relate to your experience, I have that, and in various other, like, let's say at work, or it could be, you know, that's like big one for me actually, like as an immigrant, or like racism,
Yeah.
or just ignorance. Ignorance, actually, ignorance in general just trigger me.
Do you want to talk about racism? Is that a new topic now?
If you want to, yeah.
Do you want to ask me questions? I'm kind of
About
tired of asking questions, but it was good.
I mean, look, you don't have to. You just kind of took over, but like,
How would you rate me as a host slash interviewer
I think you're good.
for the previous section? Yeah?
No, I think you're great.
You can have 2 episodes. Like now it's like
Yeah.
another
I
episode.
mean, whatever, it's like, I mean, for me, it's fine because I like it to be very free flowing and yeah, free flowing. But thank you. I really enjoyed your questions. I should have asked you all the same questions. I forgot. I got really into it.
But I think naturally I answer them too. Like so it's good. Like
Yeah. It's like, it's great. I'm still curious about like what you would expect in your date, or
my date.
yeah,
Okay,
like what would be what would be the criteria for you?
I think
We're going like change subject abruptly, but I think we understand about the whole
they
trauma
can
thing.
be racist.
Can't be racist.
Can bring back to racism.
Do you have a type?
The non-racist. I think physically I'm pretty like flexible. I don't really have a specific type. But I like people who are kind. I know it sounds really generic, but like like we're saying, kindness, it's such like a true kindness, like a effortless kindness. Not like you're kind because you want to impress me on the first date, but like true kindness comes across. You can't come across it on the first date because it takes time and consistency. You want to see across time and across different situations. And after like 5 times with you and with your friends and in public, and you're like, oh, this person is truly kind versus this just nice to you. So kindness for me is definitely like really important because that's something I feel like I'm learning. Like I want to be kinder. So whenever I see people, I'm like, oh, this paper is the embodiment of this true kindness that I want to achieve. I feel really drawn and like to those kind of people. I want to learn from them. Oh my God, I feel like this is like super like vague, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I see that in like, your boyfriend, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
he's so like JG's extremely fucking kind.
yeah, he's just
He's such a good human being.
he's like a bear.
He's like a teddy bear.
He's a teddy. He's like a big. He's actually like a hairy person, like a bear.
Yeah.
But like
He's like okay.
I really like moving on. I really like people who are funny. They're definitely funny. Like everything you said, like
Yeah.
open-minded, like
Okay.
emotional intelligence, like a basic nice person, funny. But I want to bring stuff that's more specific to me, and that's just like everything you said is like value for me too. But I like people who are like kind of nerdy, like geeks, because I'm very nerdy, like I'm very nerdy about a lot of different things, like music or like arts and cinema, or like, for example, psychology, like, or like some political, historical phases or whatever. So when you're really nerdy about something, about a thing I don't know, that's like super cool. I find that really attractive.
Something that you don't know.
Could be something I know, like music, and we just nerd about the same stuff, or something that I had no idea about, but I find fascinating. Like I find everything fascinating as long as you're explaining the interesting way, like because I'm very curious. So a nerdy person, I really like nerdy person.
Yeah.
Like could be like you're super nerdy about like this comic book, and I was like, oh my God, tell me about it. Or like video game. Like I recently so I recently got into video game. I started playing The Last of Us. So I'm basically entering my kung fu / video game martial arts. I'm turning into a manga character, like
yeah, you're going deeper into the nerdiness. You're really embracing the nerdiness.
like geekiness
yeah,
now.
getting geeky now.
I'm getting
Yeah,
geeky
yeah.
now. Yeah, like so I think that's really interesting. Someone who can carry on a conversation. Someone who loves like dogs. I like dogs, so dogs for me. Yeah, like who's funny.
Yeah,
I like
with
when
GG.
people who can make fun of me. That's
Yeah.
very niche. Like when you can make fun of me.
Did JG make fun of you?
Yeah, he makes me fun of me all the time.
Really?
He's like poking fun of me all the time. Like I like so like you're saying I model. So when people take my modeling pictures and they turn that into a meme to make fun of me, I find that really hot.
That's
like
awesome.
that's fucking funny,
That's awesome. Memes
So
are
if
the
you
best.
can make fun of me in a smart way, that would really get me.
That
So,
gets you?
Yeah.
That pushes your button?
I'm like, whoa, that's smart and funny, and you're making fun of me.
Yeah, that's cool. Like you wouldn't actually that's surprising because like he's such a nice guy. Like,
JG?
can you have like a sharp humor where he like makes fun of you and like almost like or is it like innocent? It's like very innocent. Is it
no.
like, can he dig pretty hard with his jokes sometimes on you?
Not in a mean way, but in a witty way.
Yes.
Like in
Smart.
a smart way. It's like, oh, I didn't see that one coming, but you just made fun of it.
Oh shit, yeah. You got me.
You know, like how little kids make fun of parents sometimes,
Yeah.
and like you're like unexpected that the kids thought of that and made that joke.
Yeah, and it makes them so much cuter.
But they still did that.
Yeah.
And you're like, you little fuck
Yeah,
kids.
you little brat. I love you.
That's
Like
yeah, exactly. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, you
Yeah.
got me this time.
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So he does that. I can't think of specific things he did recently that got
Mm.
me, but it's
Yeah.
funny.
So
Yeah.
like in your okay, so I'm gonna ask you like a relationship question then.
Yes.
So like you live with him,
Yeah.
all that. Um, how do you guys spend enough time in like do you guys find the time to like just hang out and shit? Like what do you guys do for fun?
We just watch TV.
Yeah. What a geek.
We talk a lot. Like
Yeah.
actually sometimes like JG, he's a very, very good listener.
Uh-huh.
And you know I can talk a lot. Like
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes we just sit on the couch and he just listens to me while I talk and
Yeah.
reacts and like chime in here and there, but he just listens.
He just listens. Yeah. I mean that's a great quality, I think. You know,
That's
for
actually really
for
good.
any guy, I think
You're
you
like
should be a good listener because
and
girl can talk for fucking ever.
yeah,
You know,
but
and that's good. I like that. I fucking like
because
that because sometimes I don't want to talk
you know
that
when I
much.
talk and
Yeah.
like it's interesting and you actually
Yeah.
want to listen and it's like
Yeah.
wow, like it's like listen to a story. So
Yeah.
sometimes you know like we both really love the New Yorker and I love the New Yorker and I'm like oh this
The magazine.
yeah exactly the magazine called the New Yorker, not like an actual person from New York.
Yeah. Do you like New Yorkers?
Sometimes, yeah. I
Sometimes?
like New Yorkers.
Yeah?
Like every time I go to New York, I'm like, hey, those are my people. You know, like New Yorkers are fun.
Mm.
But anyway, so let's see, there's an article we really like, and I will read them out loud, and then he will listen, and we discuss about it
Wow.
together, and
That's so
or
fun.
listen to a podcast together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching a show or watching TV together, but no, it's like reading an article, like listening to a podcast.
Yeah.
Or cooking together.
Mm-hmm. I miss that, man. I miss doing those things, coupley things.
You know, it's like
it's fun.
it's easy.
It's easy.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think, I can be. It's not like being couple or no couple. Like I can be single as in physically anymore because I've been so conditioned to companionship to the point that like I enjoy it. Like I love being alone but with someone. It's like you know our house is pretty big, so sometimes when I'm just sitting on the couch and he's like in another room, I still feel alone. Like I can do my thing, I can read, but I know there's someone in the house. You know, like I love the idea of companionship and being with someone. So that's not necessarily like being a couple, but just really real companionship that I can feel at ease. Like I said, maybe it's because I've been conditioned, but I don't like being completely alone. That's something I realized in the last 3 years. I need to be like companionship.
What do you don't like about being alone?
It sucks. It's like
Why?
because then I'm stuck with my own thoughts. Whereas like when I have a companion, I can just like express them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think anyone would choose having that companion.
But it's like it's not the same as having a roommate because I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
His companionship is like family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with my mom, I don't care. Like my mom is like in the the dining room, like eating or doing something. But if it's like a fucking roommate or something, I don't have this level of ease or like
yeah, it's like comfort.
It's comfort.
The feeling of being home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The feeling of being home, being by yourself, but with someone. And that's not with anyone you can have that kind of companionship, you know?
No, you
And
can't.
like you said, it's like couple sometimes, family, siblings, really close friends, like childhood friends. But like not a lot of people can be this kind of companion.
Yeah.
Or like a pet could be this kind of companion too.
Yeah, the feeling of home. Yeah.
With someone.
It's a great feeling.
But with someone.
With somebody. Yeah. I mean, I feel home here by myself, but
with your cat. That's your companion.
Like with somebody, it would make it like 1,000 times better.
But not anybody.
But
that person.
But not anybody.
A good companion. Yeah.
It would have to be a complete compatible person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also that kind of companion, I think the company I'm talking about, it's not someone you find out there. It's someone you build into that, because it takes time. Like if I met JJ on the street, I would be like, "Fuck no, don't leave my house."
Yeah, I mean, you guys don't live together for
a long time. Like 3 years.
3 years, but you guys didn't like immediately move in together.
Exactly.
You know?
So it's like he became that companion. Like we built into it, and once, even when he lived with me, it was fucking hard at the beginning, and then we had to learn. And right now, with the house we have, with the place we have, with at the phase we're in our life, that's like the perfect companion. The like, it's like a puzzle, you know, like all the pieces finally come together to be perfect companionship.
Yeah.
You know, like at the level of like, I would say the last one I had like that was with my family. So he has reached that level of ease, but that's not like everyone.
No,
You need
no.
time.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I want it.
You want it?
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, there's people who they just live. Not everyone is that.
Yeah, but they're missing out.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. But I mean, humans are very like,
we're social creatures.
social creatures.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
And like I think like as a survival mechanism, like you probably like don't feel as good, you know, being alone. It's just like you're supposed to
Yeah.
be with like a tribe.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
if you're alone, you're gonna die. Like that's like how threatening it can be. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And, oh, actually, Fabio did. We were speaking about like open relationship,
Yeah.
right? So like I have a question about that for you.
Is Fabio in an open relationship?
No, he's not. But like we were speaking about it just out of
Yeah.
like the concept because he listens to a lot of like podcasts about relationship and things
Yeah.
like that. You know, he's in a committed relationship and it's like, you know, they're very happy together. But like every relationship like has to be worked on,
Yeah.
you know, and there's gonna be challenges, you know, along the way. And you grow hopefully together.
Yes.
You know, overcome them and you grow together, and that even like makes you even closer to that person, and
Yeah.
like that person even becomes more important to you.
Companion.
Building a home, right?
Companion in life.
Yeah. So like in that, like I agree. I completely subscribe to that, right? Like you need to work on it.
Yes.
And
It's not like
it's a lot of time.
random.
No, it's not
fucking
random.
time, investment,
time,
energy.
You work on it.
It's like you master art. You have a vision.
Yeah.
You work toward it, and you build a plan.
Yeah. And that's fucking valuable, right?
Yeah.
And it's something.
And but that's why I'm like, I cannot not see him not have companionship, or like him as a companion in my life, just purely out of the fact that I already invested so much time and energy. Like I don't want to lose that because I just fucking like it feels purely transactional, but I'm like, that's too much investment to lose any of it. Let's just keep moving on,
It's
you
like
know. And I love that.
It's called the sunk cost fallacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not a
I'm not
bad
saying it's
thing.
a fallacy, you know, but like
But no, but that's not a bad thing, you know.
No.
It's like
No.
it's like a garden.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh my god, I already invested so much in my fucking garden. I'm gonna maintain it for the rest of my life. I don't care. It's like I just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. And like you will only fail if like the garden fucking dies. So but like
I think like, you know, that's exactly like I subscribe to that, and like, you know, hopefully you have the right person to do it with, you know, and eventually if it doesn't, then it doesn't, it's okay. It would be horrible if you stayed if it wasn't working because you invested so much time. It's like, oh, I don't want to leave because I already spent all this time.
Okay, that would be fucking horrible.
That would be a fucking nightmare, and a lot of people end up doing that, right?
Yeah, that's really sad though.
It is sad, you know, and I think it would be better if those people just like moved on.
Yeah.
But like, you know, from that perspective, right? Me and Fabio were like, man, like how would like people get into an open relationship?
Yeah.
Because like you do have to spend time with somebody
Yes.
to like make it good. It's never
Yes.
like, I mean, maybe in the honeymoon phase it's fun and good, but like eventually you're gonna hit that place where like you're gonna have to start building something. And then if you're having like an open relationship, like he talked about like having your main relationship, and then there would be like a peripheral one, you know, a side relationship, and that it would work only if like they both want the same thing.
Was that on the episode?
It was.
I didn't listen till the end.
It's at the very end. They were discussing that, and it was like, and I was like, I don't think I could do it. You know, we were discussing whether we could like as a concept and like if we could do it, you know. And he was like, no, he couldn't do it because he would get jealous, because like if she was doing this and then like I would have an emotional reaction, I don't think I could keep myself under like control, you know. And my excuse is like, I'm not mature enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I think there has to be like, I'm asking you this because like from a girl's perspective.
What's the question?
Yeah,
I was like,
from the girl's perspective, you know, like like if I'm just throwing this question out
Yeah.
because it's something that Fabio and I were like fascinated with, and from your perspective,
Yeah.
like, is that something that is possible, and like what would make it work, and like because you need to have like everybody, I guess I would theorize that like everybody has to agree,
Yeah.
everybody, you
Yes.
know, and like whatever the main relationship is, there has to be like still harmony in that,
Yeah.
you know.
Everything needs to be harmonious.
But like for me,
It's like balance.
yeah, I would find I said I couldn't do it because
Yeah.
I'm not mature enough, because I would probably
It's like, are you saying you're not mature enough because you don't know how to manage things?
pretty much.
Or you're not mature enough because you don't know how to handle your feelings?
I think
I
it's a
mean, that's the
combination of
same
both.
thing. Yeah.
It's a combination of both.
Yeah.
I would even like ask myself like, would I even like it? Because like
Yeah.
what would I need out of another person? You know?
Yeah. I think at first, before thinking if, okay, we're gonna go backtrack a bit and talk about commitment. Okay, because I've had a lot of people ask me this kind of questions, and I always come back to the same thing. Before you're like, can I commit to two people or like do that? Ask yourself, can you commit to one person? Can you build a one healthy relationship that you love and someone you cherish?
Mm.
If you say yes,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you can be like, can I handle two people? Because a lot of my friends are like, oh, maybe I can do an open relationship. It's like, and then I ask that question like, oh, I don't even know if I can entertain one person, and like
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, well, maybe from purely a logistical and practical reason,
Mm-hmm.
try one first.
Mm-hmm.
It's like having a pet. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
like comparing people to pets, but like,
Mm-hmm.
if you can have one cat, can you have two cats?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So that's a question you need to ask yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Can you have one cat? And if you're like, oh man, I can you have one cat right moment in my life because my job is so stressful, it's so chaotic.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the people, like being in an open relationship, I need to lend you this book. Like I read this book called Polyamorous by
Mm-hmm.
this Chinese author. She's based in Toronto, so she's Canadian Chinese. So it was really relatable for me because I'm also like Chinese, and like,
Mm-hmm.
and she talked about her story of like polyamory, and it's really interesting because like he talks about different forms. It's like people who are like solo poly when it's like they're always single and they just go on different dates, like, and the people who have one main relationship and then they have a lot of like secondary. There's people who are like a triangle. They have two partners, and they recommend. There's people who are like a nesting partner. It's like someone you live with, and another one that you don't live with, but they are not less important. They're just in the nest. So she starts the book with all those different terms, and then she's a journalist, and then she talks about different communities, like how being polyamory is really expensive because you have to go on different dates. You have to manage your time. So it's actually privilege if you can do that because it's very hard. Like not everyone can afford polyamory and just go on a bunch of dates with a bunch of people. And then she talks about like the taboos in like minority groups because it's like not like perceived, or like religious groups. So it's like really a nicely divided book. That's like a book that Gigi and I actually read. I read out loud every night. Like we read like a chapter together and talk about it. So the girl, her name I think is Jenny, and she starts the book with her own like story. So she was in this relationship, um, and it didn't work too well. And then she met like a guy somewhere, and then she cheated on her partner, and then partner found out, and it's super not well, and then it's like it was traumatic to her, and like her husband hated her, and like no, like really big drama, very toxic. And then she met this other person who was her work colleague that they've been working together for years, but he's much older. And then she went on a trip and she met this other younger man who like it was better for the lifestyle to be together, and then she started dating him, but she was so drawn to her like
Colleague.
colleague.
Mm-hmm.
So they just had this like, she made it work. We tell you it wasn't really easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wanted kids, and she couldn't have kids with the older colleague, because he's too old. And then she wanted to have kids with the other person, so they had kids.
Mm.
And the other person too was like living abroad, so it was really hard to. And then the other person the younger guy has to come in Canada, so they could build a family.
Wow.
Like her story was fucking crazy,
Yeah.
But no, like they got married, and the older man, like the colleague, was kind of like a like uncle figure to their kids. So it was really cute. And
so they all kind of knew each, like
they're
they were
kind of
part
like a
of
family
they were
now.
part of a family,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's this photo of like 3 of them embracing at the wedding. It was kind of cute.
Wow.
And she even managed to tell her Asian mom, who didn't understand at first.
Yeah.
But I think now they're all cool, and so I was like, her story, that's like fucking inspiring. So I think to do that, you can force yourself. At first, like I said, there's so many styles, and for me, someone who's like polyamorous, I don't really relate to someone who's like poly solo, who live by themselves and go on date, because that's so far from my relationship. I actually relate more to someone who's monogamous and live with a partner, because that's more my reality. I relate more to people who are committed to their partners, even their companion, even if they're monogamous, than people who are poly and who like have long distance relationships only. Right? It's just like at the end of the day, for me, it's the level of commitment and like companionship that I really more than the format, because it's like the reality, like.
Right.
So having that, for me, it's like I always knew that the model of being exclusive and like love is limited didn't make sense. Like,
you always knew that?
At a very young age, I feel like that doesn't make any sense. And
right.
like,
why?
Because why? Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't feel like, I need to be with someone so I can love someone else. Just because you love me doesn't mean you can love someone else. So like, it's not mutually exclusive. And
I agree.
Like, it's just you love me, you love them, we all love each other. And I feel like I always understood at a very young age, and I was never jealous. That's something I was never jealous. I was always
never?
No.
Wow.
Like, I'm not jealous, but like I have experienced a lot of envy. But not for like love. So envy is more like status and career, and like as an immigrant kid and all that. And like that's a different, envy and jealousy is a different thing. But like, now as I'm older and more mature, envy is not something that's eating me away as much as maybe like all the energy like I did not spend on jealousy, it fucking took, like envy took all of it. I had like yeah. Anyways, that's another conversation. But like so yeah, like I just feel like always made sense to me, like because I'm someone who's very curious, and I want to have this deep connection with different people, because we're, like we said, we're all complex, we're layered, we're nuanced, and no one can be 100% fulfilling and like perfect for you, because I cannot fulfill one person. Like I'm not perfect, I don't have it all, like there's so many things I don't know, and like I want you to know that and to experience that, because I love you, so like same thing for me, like no one has it all for me, like no, even like 10 people don't have, it's like we can continuously learning, and I do want to have this connection with different people. And so like
that takes maturity too, like that the level you understand, that level of what love means, even like it's something that you can give, like there's like almost like an infinite amount that you have, and that you can
love is infinite, time is finite. So
the
the struggles for me after, it's really time management. But time will make it happen, we'll figure out once that's more like logistic and details, and if people are understanding, they can make it. But like this spirit of generosity, I think not everyone, I think it's all in us, but not everyone has it, and it's very reactive to be like, no, you're mine, I'm yours, and that's it. But like being generous in that is possible, and
it's
anything
very
else.
powerful, like,
but I'm not gonna like say that everyone can do it or anything,
No.
but and it's right for. I'm like, I want to convert people. It's like a religion, and like I said, there's different types.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for me, someone who's not into companionship and trying to convert, I'm like, I can be alone, you know. Like I need to.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, like that. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, that's really great. And I you said a lot of things that interest me, like that. I really see the maturity that you have to have, not just yourself, but the people that would be involved in it.
Yes,
You know,
everyone's
because
so generous.
they have to have that same sort of perspective about that kind of
Yes.
infinite amount of love that you can give, because you can love everyone.
Yes.
You know, anyone that you want to love, you can.
Yes.
You know, without any expectation of like return.
Yes.
But if they can, that's great.
Yes.
And if they can participate in that without that jealousy or like possessiveness, because that connection that you share with that person is real, and that is an experience that, like,
Yes.
let's say your like soul desires, like that I have this connection with this
Yeah.
this individual that is very unique and special to me, and I feel extremely grateful, and I feel fulfilled and loved.
Yes.
And that experience is like so valuable to me. But with another person, I can have that,
Yeah, exactly.
but in a different way.
Yes,
And your
everything's
soul
different.
your soul just expresses and connects differently.
Yes.
But like everybody in that relationship has to have that level of understanding.
Yes.
Otherwise,
But-
they wouldn't, because if one person starts competing or
Yes.
whatever, it's
Everyone has to
yeah.
have the same level of understanding. But like, just to go back on your level of fulfillment, it's like I'm not saying like romantic relationships are like exactly like friendships and it's like one-on-one like a comparison, but like not all your friends are the same. That's why you have different friends. Like me and Fabio, you're drawn to us, you like to hang out with us for different reasons. Like Fabio cannot be your only friend, you know. And you, let's say you meet Fabio, it's like, I would love to have this with someone else, but in a different way. And then you meet someone else, you can have the similar Mariana Trench level or like whatever,
Yeah.
like a Pacific Ocean experiment, a different pathways. So I think it makes us see like our capacity to be human, actually. Like
Man. Yeah.
But like you say, it's really important communication. Like for me, that's definitely a skill that I've sharpened and improved by miles since then. At first, it's very hard. It's very emotional. It's very immediate. Like you just cry a bit. It's overwhelming. Oh my god! The beginning was like, oh my god.
Yeah, the emotion, because I'm very emotional person.
It's like
I get
like
very
you
involved,
said, like
so
putting yourself in the unknown is foreign land.
yeah.
I don't know what to do. I just panic and a panic attack. But like now it's been like a long times that I'm like, it's okay, and you always advance to the next level. It's like no, you're like, what can we do next? And when so yeah, like I think everyone can do it. I'm not saying like if everyone can actually make it happen, probably not, but like it's possible.
Yeah.
Because like why not? Like if
Why
you,
not? But at the same time, I like, it does say a lot about the character, like you, and like what you desire, and that connection. And I really feel like it's like the soul craves it, you know.
Yeah.
I have the same kind of feeling about like this craving of connection,
oh sorry, finish.
this very deep, profound connection with people, and that like the soul seeks. It's like, it's not like something that it's not like this drug that I need. Like, it's not like a cigarette or like whatever. It's just I feel like this expensiveness when I have that with people.
Yeah.
And I can have that with many people. Like I just
not many, because you're gonna be fucking tired.
no, exactly. But like I have potentially infinite
Yes,
love. Like I
in
just
theory.
love people.
Yes,
I love people
in theory
so much.
It's infinite, but in
Yeah,
practice,
in
it's not.
practice we are human, you know. We're in this body,
Yes.
and it has a finite amount of energy before you fucking crash. You need to
Yes.
sleep, you need to do all this, eat, whatever.
Yes.
So your body is kind of this machine that, you know, it has the restrictions. But let's say your soul,
Yeah.
you know, your spirit is like unbounded, you know, and it's in it when you're able to, I imagine, because I'm, you know, I don't have a experience having multiple people that I am simultaneously uh growing in a relationship
Yeah.
with, you know? Like I have people that I love that are friends, you know,
Yeah.
that I've had history, my exes or something. I still
Yeah.
keep relationship with them, but not, you know, in the arrangement, right?
Mhm.
Like they are past, you
Mhm.
know, they're not immediate.
Right.
Um, but like I just love people and like I'm like,
I
and
feel
but
like
you have to have that. That's like, but that has to be part of
you
your
have to
character.
have it. It's
You have
like
to. I think everybody has potential for it, but
I think everybody has it.
I
Yeah.
think it just that's why I'm saying it like
Yeah.
takes that maturity.
But
You know.
I feel like if whoever's gonna listen to this episode, they're gonna think we're high because obviously it's like we have this potential to love people, and I love people so much. It's all about love. But I think like you're right, like we all have this potential in us, but because the way we were socialized and labeled, a lot of this is repressed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it creates like jealousy or like all that because like in theory, polyamory and all this fucking makes sense. There's this episode of Vox that I'm gonna send to you. It explains like monogamy and how it was invented just to keep lands, exchange of like richness and like bounty and like capitals basically, and being in a polyamorous structure actually makes children or like just communities survive better and like stronger. And but anyways, so it
Is
was
that like a
very
historical
yeah.
evidence? Yeah.
Marriage is like 400 years old though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like super recent. It's just and it started not even out of love. It was like purely like a transactional exchange.
Mm-hmm.
But like there was this one guy, remember, like he was talking about, so this is like maybe like older white guy in his 40s. He's gay, I think, and he was him and his partner, and he was saying how whenever he was talking to this other man about that he's in a polyamory relationship with his husband for 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, oh my god, like what the hell, like I've been with like it's like I'm monogamous. I've only been with like 3 women, but one at a time for the last 4 years. So the guy was like, "Well, you're not committed to your partners. You're fucking committed to monogamy. Because in the last 4 years, you had 3 wives. I had the same person for the last 4 years. He was that guy who had 3 wives. He was just committing to the notion of monogamy and not to the wives.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really interesting. It's like sometimes the way our society is like has like shaped our brain and the way we organize our surroundings, our society, it's so entrenched that we cannot break free from it. And
Mm-hmm.
from that you create like jealousy because you're like, okay, no, like this is mine, this is it, because this is what I've been told it is. So if I don't have it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking jealous, you know?
What is jealousy? Like you said, you never got jealous. You never had jealous. Like what is it?
It
That,
depends. Like I
like
don't
what is
have
that feeling? Like.
romantic jealousy in that way, but I've had like envy. Like I said, that's kind of jealousy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because jealousy, if it's defined by wanting to have something that you don't have,
Well, for
right?
example, let's say you, I have a girlfriend, let's say, and
Okay.
she's talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Then I get jealous.
Yes.
This is jealous. Like the feeling is that like, oh, like this person who is mine
Yes.
is giving her attention that should be mine
Yes.
to another man.
Uh huh.
I guess that's all it is. It's kind of like just possessiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you never had that.
No.
Wow.
Not that I think of. Like I really don't care. I'm
So you
like,
never
okay,
had this
cool.
feeling like the
But
want to possess.
I've had feeling of like I'm always bring back to envy. It's like I've had feeling where like someone has something, and I'm like, this thing should be mine.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never a person or
Never a
something.
person, yeah.
It was always like this job or like this
Yeah.
status or this thing should be mine. So it is kind of jealousy, but knowing that
Yeah.
context, that's what I mean. It's like I've had situations of envy that completely destroyed me, you know, and that's super intense. And I feel it's like out of my character because I'm so loving. But
Mm.
now as I'm mature, I have less of those
Mm-hmm.
episodes of envy. But I've had that in my life when I was younger,
Mm.
even earlier in my career, or like I did have a lot of like envy, comparing myself of
Mm.
the thing they have, and I was like, that I wanted, it should be mine.
Mm. Yeah. Interesting. I
Yeah.
just realized, yeah, the envy and jealousy are kind of the same thing. Yeah.
So I'm not
But
perfect.
I just kind of admitted to myself that it is only about it's like
Possession.
possession. It's like it's kind of like this greed. It's
Yes.
like this it's kind of this competitiveness. And I guess that's just part of our nature.
Competitive. Yes.
It's part of our nature. And we compete for mates,
Yeah.
partners, as well as career
Yeah.
resources, right?
Resources.
We're
Yeah.
just trying to like get the best
Fame. Yeah.
resources and be it's just this race essentially, right?
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you never had it with people. That's so interesting.
Yeah. But I have it like had it a lot with like
Yeah.
status, fame, no fame.
So like what drew
So
you at the end of the like, what drew you then initially to that like idea of like polyamory and like getting the book, reading about it, trying to maybe even if it was like emotional in the beginning that you pursued it like
I think Manu. It's not Manu, it's Stan. Stan. Stan is jealous.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, it's not never something that I was like, I saw it somewhere. I'm like, oh, maybe I should. I don't even remember the first time I
Sounds like you just knew.
encountered or like saw someone in my surrounding that had that. Like I never had like a role model of like polyamory somewhere in my life or like on TV or media. Like I never like saw it, and I like actually I think I just knew and I just felt it, and it just felt like that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there I started like talking and reading about it, but after when I
Mm-hmm.
decided to do it,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because usually it's like you read about it and you're like, does this make sense? And then you do it. Versus now, I'm like, I think this makes a lot of sense due to like you're saying, my character,
Yeah.
my generous spirit, like the way I love,
Mm-hmm.
the way I see love. I'm like, wow, this just makes so much sense. You know, like why would I do it the other way? Just because society is that, like
Mm.
And then I started reading about it and like talking about it and like watching videos about it. But
Mm-hmm.
after that,
Yeah.
it's like
Sounds like you're wired for it, yeah. And
no,
you
I don't
kind of
think it's a wire. It's not like nothing genetic or anything. It's my
yeah.
upbringing. It's how
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
brought up.
Your
I don't
character,
know. It's
yeah.
like my parents who told me about
Yeah.
love or something, or like something I watched. But there's something in me, the way I grew up
Mm-hmm.
from this young Chinese girl in China, the way I discover world, the way I'm curious about people from
Mm-hmm.
coming here, the way I want to explore.
Mm-hmm.
It applies to things.
That's fascinating.
Why?
It just is to me. I mean, I relate
But
to that. I
I
relate
think,
to that.
yeah,
And I'm fascinated by that fact that it came naturally. It
yeah.
came naturally. Um, and the certainty
It's
about it.
it's really interesting. It's never something I saw. I'm like, I want to try that. Like all my
Yeah.
other things, like, oh, tattoo, you tattoo me. I want to tattoo you. I want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, yeah, I always felt like it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Like I felt it
Yeah.
because like the way I feel like the
You
other
felt it. Yeah.
creative thing that I do. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
why do I do this video that way? Why do I like take that photo that way? Or like
Yeah.
it's almost like instinctive because of all my past experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel very attuned to like yourself with your it sounds like attuned to your feeling and like the your thought process, because I feel like I do battle myself a lot. I do have resistance within myself. There's like kind of this like argument, you know
Mm-hmm.
like I do fight. I think there's resistance with my feelings and my own thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
like I do think a lot. And there's like opposing ideas,
Yeah.
and I have to actually take a lot of time to process them. And I do realize a lot of it is, like you said, conditioning.
Yes.
It's just my past versus my new self.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of transformation just constantly happening,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And this is why I always sort of bring up like self-development and that type of topics here, because I think it all relates to it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm fascinated by the how it was natural, and that you
Mm-hmm.
just there's this instinct
Yeah.
about it.
Because like just like everything else,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know like what else to add to that. Like,
Yeah.
you know, when sometimes like when you're like should have you're on set and you do something, like you take a scene or the way you edit something,
Mm-hmm.
you just know it's instinct. You feel it's right, and the instinct is not random. The instinct comes from, like I said, you past life, all the memories, all the accumulation of past experiences create that instinct you have today. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, I think people,
Oh.
myself included, there's it's kind of a muscle, you know. Maybe creative people have it come naturally easier to them to follow that instinct, but a lot of people fight themselves.
Yeah.
Um, and that's something, yeah, I do like explore, because I definitely do. Um, yeah. Was it always easy for you to follow and be attuned to your instinct? Did you always feel kind of at ease with that? Or
um
did you ever fight yourself ever?
it depends of what instincts. Mostly, yeah, like I think my instincts are very like innocuous. Like I don't have like, what do I mean innocuous? It's like they're not like, how do I say that? It's like uh wait, I can't find the word. I'm tired. They're
Yeah.
not like irreversible if I act on them. That's what I
Mm,
mean.
mm,
So I think most of the time I follow them. It's like there's not gonna be irreversible damage if I actually follow that instinct. You know,
right.
like so that's what I mean by innocuous. Like I don't have an instinct of like, oh, like maybe I should do this and like do something really dangerous with that, like creative work. Like
Mm-hmm.
this, like they usually they're very innocuous
Right.
instincts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Because, yeah, I think, yeah, some people would even be scared. Some people just have fear. I have
Yeah.
fear, you
A lot of
know?
people have fear, like
And,
especially in the workplace. I can tell
yeah.
because
Yeah.
the fear that they have, especially when you're higher up, they become stressed and they
Mm,
become very like anxious and like insecure. You know,
mm-hmm.
their fear, and they
Mm-hmm.
project that on other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to live under their own insecurities and fears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So you do observe that.
Fucking up that at the work. I actually am very aware of people's fear and insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
and I am someone who like owns my truth as much as I can,
Mm-hmm.
and I just do it like we're talking about. Like I do it like I'm not tired. I just because I've done it so much in the past that now it's just like I just do it. Like it's like a habit, you know. And most people live under fear and they're really like, fearing and like, and then
You're saying that you do have those fears, but you just do them. Like
yes,
that's how you, like,
exactly.
you built a muscle to do that.
Exactly. I built
Yeah.
like a muscle to always own the truth, you know? Whereas the other people
What do you mean by that? The truth.
own the truth, it's like have like right now I'm gonna start talking about like this in the creative field, like
Mm-hmm.
in the creative
Yeah.
workspace in
Yeah.
the industry environment. Whereas like I will always be authentic and have this creative integrity and like
Mm.
be fair
Mm-hmm.
and like be rational and like do my work, push ideas, give feedback, but like, constructive feedback, very
Mm-hmm.
like on the truth of who I am. I speak about my ideas, whereas most people live under fear, I feel. And then it's like if they are less confident or more junior, they would just shut up and don't say anything.
Mm-hmm.
If they are like higher up and they have to make the calls, when they live under fear, they will just shut you up because they're like, whatever you say, they're like, no, that's not it, that's not. But they won't propose any other idea. They will just shut everyone up because they're fucking stressed, and they project the stress on other people. And I see it, the creators who own their truth and their work, and the creators who fucking live under fear. And that's something that really angers me and gets me emotional, because it's really a clash of values and clash of like the creatives who are slaying and living their truth and owning their truth and like rooting for their team, and like, and the creatives who are living under fear. And when those are your managers, that's like really like scary.
Man, that is awesome. That's fast. I love
Do
that.
you feel that too?
I think so, but I think I'm just perceiving that you are very attuned to it.
Yeah,
You
it's
were
really
very
important.
attuned to it, and that is really cool to me.
But like, I feel like you feel that too. Like, you could say
Yeah.
the people who are like
I think
that.
I feel it, but I think I doubt myself even. So like, you know, I might feel it, but I might doubt like, oh, maybe they know better, or like, you know, there's, you said like like owning your truth.
Yes,
And
I don't have that.
I might doubt my own thing. I know there's an instinct telling me I
Just
know.
say it. Just do it.
I know, but then like I might, you know, I feel that you have that confidence to follow it.
Yes.
Right. And
I'll do it.
it takes me like time and like, you know, a lot of rehearsing, right?
Yeah.
To like, I can do it, but like,
You can do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Because they're not gonna do it better than you if you don't do it. And I think a lot of that also comes from our immigrant background of like not being good enough versus the other
Imposter
people.
thing we talked about, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided to let that go and still do it.
Yeah.
And I think they're threatened by me. I think I'm going really far into this analogy, but sometimes I'm like, because I'm really like,
Because you're
strong and bold, and I'm already starting off as an outsider. It's like, whoa, that's like fucking like intense and
powerful.
scary. Yeah, because it's like an alien attack, you know.
Dude,
literally.
Totally. Yeah, man.
Like, literally,
you're like a monster.
Yeah.
You know, very powerful, and that is so inspiring to me.
Oh my
That
God,
is like
thank you.
exactly the way, this perfect like thing that we just landed on, like, cause that is like at the core, I think, of like what's attractive, you know, about you, and this power that's you like harnessed, and it's so powerful, like you can feel it.
I can feel it. It's like tangible. I feel it in my body as
you
we talk about it.
Do you feel Super Saiyan right now? Like, yeah.
And I feel it when I practice Kung Fu. I feel it
Totally. Yeah, I think all of those things that you're channeling, all that like practice in body and mind,
Yeah.
and at work, your workplace, and how you perceive that fear. You know, the fear is tangible.
But I don't feel it all the time.
Mm.
Like I said, it's like I feel it most of the time if I'm in the right mindset.
Yes.
But when sometimes like I feel a bit vulnerable or tired, and there's that one little thing that makes me
kind of off-centered.
I can lose it very easily.
Yeah, it is like a superpower.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It is like a superpower that, like, if you know, when it's like you could lose it. You know, sometimes, you know, you like, let's say you're like a witch, you know how to fly on a broom, and one day you wake up and you can't. It's like, I don't remember how to do it.
Yes.
I
don't know how to channel. It doesn't. It's not like I know how to wield it when I have it. I know how to express it when I need it. But when it's not there, I don't know how to channel it. Because,
is that frustrating?
Yes. Because I feel helpless.
Yeah.
And I feel like lost. But sometimes like the thing that will put me off center is usually like a trigger of past trauma of like something that I can do. I can't think of a specific example, but like, let's say I'm in a meeting and I'm really confident. I'm like, I got this. It's my idea. I have the deck. I'm preparing to pitch it. And then maybe I'm in a room confronted of like a lot of like white older men. And then they say something that's kind of like inappropriate. Maybe that would put me off center, and I'll derail completely, because that will like trigger a trauma of, you know.
Oh, I feel you, man. Oh my God, I feel you so fucking
and that
much
thing,
right now.
I cannot help it. That
I want to cry.
Like, it's a bit like the superpower, and like that's like kryptonite for Batman.
Dude,
you know, of Batman, Superman.
Yeah.
That's his bane. Like every time you feel kryptonite, he's like paralyzed.
It's gone.
It's just gone. Yeah.
I feel you so much.
Yeah, you do.
I feel you.
Okay. In what way?
That's so like nice, affirm, like kind of life affirming for me,
Yeah.
actually, you know, to hear it from somebody else who I like, who I respect and consider to be like so like inspiring and
Like,
just
in what way do you relate to that?
I mean the picture you painted just now in like a pitch meeting with people that are in like positions of power, you know, and they embody everything that we associate with authority and
Yeah.
power, and like they set the tone,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all looking and judging, and they could just say one thing,
Yes.
and they kind of know
But
how to
sometimes
push your
they
button,
don't.
or they don't even, because they can't even begin to understand your reality.
Yeah, or like your past trauma, your history.
Yeah.
Because that's like white privilege. That's
Yeah,
privilege.
100%.
Because they don't know.
They don't
They
know.
fucking don't know.
It's a
Like,
privilege
yeah.
to not have to know,
Yeah,
to stay ignorant.
exactly.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You know, we accept that, we live with it. But that to me is how I feel when I step out of my house.
I have that not like even in a creative like work context. I could have that like
Anywhere,
anywhere,
like when I
like
know.
even like at a restaurant,
Yeah,
and like
100%. Yeah.
you feel good, and like sometimes like, okay, wait, I have another example
Mm-hmm.
of it's another work context, but it could be anywhere. So a lot of people at work call me by my full name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like no one at work is gonna listen to this anyways. Like, but
Mhm.
anyways, like, I love people by my work, but so they call me by my full name, like Yang Shi,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because white people always call Asian people by their full name, or like fucked up their names or whatever. Like, even if you correct them, but like every time they do that, it just like fucking gets me,
Yeah.
because people have been doing that for my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this girl who does it all the fucking time. And like,
Mhm.
she knows me, and like I told her so many times, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I do it all the time. I forget all the time." It's like, I do it because I want to do it in a formal way. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I don't want to call you by your full name. You can just
Mm-hmm.
speak in a formal way or whatever, but like, I don't say your full name, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh my god, like just thinking about it, it gets me.
Yeah.
And like, just those little things makes me lose my superpower, because like I become frazzled. It's like
Totally, you become reactive.
it's like frazzled, like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then it's like I have to go back to my superpower
no,
and
no.
pitch.
Yeah, I
and,
gotta go and like do my
do
ritual.
my slation. And it's like, no, I've been fucking like
Yeah.
just like ran over by like
Yeah,
childhood trauma now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I totally, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of like humbling and like, you know, to hear from somebody else, because yeah, I can be hard on myself for that, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, because
'Cause
I feel
if-
like I have to be like a fucking superhuman all the time. And like, what would it feel like to if this was easy? You know, I always think that like my experiences, like their experience of reality, like how if like that little thing, because that's so trivial when you think about it.
Yeah.
But it means something to us, because to us, maybe when we were growing up, it just meant that we felt like unseen.
Yeah, or like an
Like we
outsider.
were outsider, that like why how come I am singly treated differently?
Yes. That's
You know?
it.
And
Yeah.
like I'm just asking for a simple thing.
Yeah.
And they cannot let that request land.
Because it's so wired in their brains and conditioned to
Yeah.
call me that way,
Yeah.
that they cannot change it, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, girl, like it's been like fucking 2 years and you still call me by my full name.
Yeah, and that is triggering, and that is probably the most human reaction that you can have. It's like anyone with any self-respect would have that. And some of the things that I you know, it is just what it is, but I hate is it's like we have to just be like that tougher. We have to be tougher.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate it, because it's like,
Why
you know,
can't you be kinder? And
yeah,
more
it's just like
considerate?
I hate that it's all me. Like I have to take the burden of
Yeah.
their ignorance, but it's just the way it is, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we're gonna be greater. That's why we're gonna be greater.
That's how you build resilience.
That's why we're gonna.
It's like kung
Yeah,
fu, you know.
exactly.
Like you have to go through the pain
Dude,
for the gain.
that's why.
No pain, no gain.
Coming full circle.
But
We go for the pain,
I
the
think
struggle.
I think there's something that my dad taught me when I was like when I was younger and when I was a little girl, and I think that's some years or sometimes right after we moved to Canada. It's like well, maybe it was my mom. I feel it's like something that my mom would say rather than my dad. Like no, just like she said like you will always have to fight for yourself. Like I was really young. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and she's like, uh, it will always be harder for you to succeed something than other people. That's gonna be the way. She told me in life for you it's always gonna be harder than for other people to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But you gotta do it and you're gonna fight for yourself because no one else was gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
And I think at the time when she said it, it's because of her own reality as a immigrant, someone in their like mid-30s who didn't speak the language, who had to fucking work in a dep, you know, at the time. So she knew like, man, like she was a professor in university and now she's like working at this dep. It was fucking hard. So I think she told me that when I was 8 years old that it was gonna be harder. Nothing, everything was gonna be harder for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like that's like doesn't make any sense.
Well,
I was
that's
just
not
a
fair.
kid. I was like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
But like, she was right, my mom. You know,
Yeah.
like for her it was even harder. You know, it's still
Yeah.
even harder for her. You know,
Yeah.
it's already like 300 times, like infinity times easier for me. You know,
Yeah.
and like for our kids, it's gonna be like so much easier.
Yeah.
But like, but having said that, like, yeah, like that's it. There's no choice. Like they can meet you somewhere like on the bridge, but they can never meet you in the middle because they will never understand that reality. And like you will have to fight for yourself. And
Yeah.
from in this fight, you can find allies and to help you, to support you. You can find your community to root for you and make them shine. And like that's it. That's the only thing you can do. But you can never expect them to change for you. That's I know
No.
it sounds really like ruthless what I'm saying, but that is the truth.
It's not. It is ruthless, and it's just the way it is.
It's just the fucking truth.
And we have to live with that.
Yeah, it's like,
You know.
imagine coming from a place of privilege and like you're already at the top, you have a nice house, you have a nice job, you have a nice position, you have it all. Like, why would I care for you? Aside from like out of like just being a nice person, nice human. But like I have no gain from this.
They won't even appreciate it almost. It's
like they don't care. Like there's what would be the point?
Yeah.
Like how would you build your case unless like us of like being a really nice human being?
Yeah. I mean, look, I like to treat everybody equally. I try try to be treated as the same way, you know. And I used to hold a lot of resentment. I used to hold a lot of like complex inferiority, I guess.
I think it stopped.
No, it's
Oh my god, we talked for like 3 hours.
Siri's trying to talk to me. No, it's still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. Yeah, I had a lot of resentment and like complex about that. But I think I'm getting good at letting it go. You know, because those things, like you said, like about like anger or like there's some emotions that don't help you. You do have to take the high road. You know, like it's okay, life is fucking unfair, but we still have to play the game. And if you're gonna compete, we have to be 10 times better than them.
Yes.
And it just makes me motivated.
It's like everything around all at once.
I'm just
For
so
them to
I'm
be
so
that, they
motivated.
had to be like 300 times better.
I'm so motivated, and I've had that since I was a kid. And it's funny you tell that story about your, you know, about it's just never gonna be easy for you. That it's gonna be always harder than anyone else to do the same thing.
Yes.
And I figured that out very quickly when I moved to Canada.
Yeah.
But one of the liberating things about being here was also that my mom said to me, she said, "Oh, I realized that in this country."
Say it in Japanese.
No.
I know you translate it. No, say it in Japanese.
I'll just say it in
Say it in
English.
Japanese.
Okay, maybe later. But she was like, I can't even say it in
Ginga.
English. Ginga, like I realized in this country, like if you don't speak, you don't exist. Like if you don't speak up, you don't even exist. And that to me landed hard because actually in Japan, Japan is a very strict society, very conformist, collectivist society. So there's, even as a Japanese person in Japan, there's a huge pressure from social conditioning to act a certain way. And you are pretty much encouraged not to speak. Like you just do what you're told, type of thing. And that to me was a very stifling, repressive, oppressive kind of place to be. And when I came here and when she told me that, it actually kind of liberated me and empowered me. And I became very like, I remember feeling free, you know? And I realized that if also because I was starting to be treated differently in school, I realized like, oh, I'm the outsider. It kind of like doubled the effect. Like, oh, I need to speak up. Like I need to talk. I need to like let myself be heard, you know. And that like really motivated me. And I also realized like, oh yeah, I'll have to outrun them. Like I'll always have to like run faster. I'll always have to like work 10 times harder than everybody else to like just be heard, you know?
Yes,
So
no,
like,
but absolutely.
like that actually motivates me, and I feel like I still have that fire.
Yes.
You know, in the fire, like I love.
It's a fire you've been like harnessing since you were like 10 years old. You know, it's just like it's like a fucking forest fire now.
It's like a freaking forest fire.
Yeah, imagine this fire, but with your community and your allies together. It's like a fucking forest fire. You know, that's how you make yourself heard. Like it's literally the cast of everything all at once. Like just seeing them on the stage, you see a fucking forest fire like lit up the stage and the Golden Globes, just setting the whole stage on fire. You know,
dude, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful sight.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna watch the Oscar and they're gonna all win and you're gonna just see fire.
Yeah, it's fire.
Torch.
They're gonna torch the place down. They're gonna burn the place down.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Cool, man. Yeah. Well, good job. Continue your good work. And I think you're fire. You're fire.
I'm fire.
You're fire, and you're lighting everybody up around you. You're like working with those people that are also fire.
Everyone's
what
fire.
Is it? Sticky Rice?
Yeah.
Sticky Rice Mag?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Montreal-based
Fire
magazine. You know about what would you say? What, immigrants, Asian community,
Asian diaspora.
Yes.
Celebrating Asian experiences and creativity.
Cool. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to plug?
Just be kind to each other. I don't know, like be a nice person. Don't set limits. Try new things. Be curious. Love yourself. Love others. Be generous. Take your time.
Yes.
Fight and I don't know.
Cool.
Like eat well.
Yeah, eat well.
Sleep
be good
well.
to yourself.
Practice kung fu.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Yang. I love you very much.
Too.
Yeah, and
we
we went for a while. It's good. Love it. I hope that this was entertaining for you. We covered a lot of different topics, but I actually talked about everything I wanted to talk about. So I'm very, very grateful, and thank you for even taking over the fucking show for like half the show. You're like interviewing me for a moment. I was trying to like steer it back to you, but like I was kind of drunk. I was having some sake, so like that was just like a nice hangout, and I'm so fucking happy they took the time to see me.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll do this again.
Like Ginga, you started this podcast to have an excuse to hang out with your friends. Actually, is that why you started that?
Totally. Absolutely. I mean, look, if I can hang out with people I love and talk about really interesting things and spread fires, I'm doing so many things at the same time. I'm just being so fucking efficient. And
that's true. Oh
I'm
my
all
God.
about I'm all about killing as many birds as I can with one stone. And so I can make a podcast, talk to my friends, hang out, push this message out there, and fucking inspire people and fucking bring other people out here, because I'm putting out the flag out there for you. And if you like this, talk to us, comment, subscribe, send a message, even come and be on the show with us, because I want to meet you. I love you. You're the best. You're amazing. And this is March 3rd, 2023. Yeah. And I love you. Oh my God. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.